happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today we have former Division I player, former pro, now real estate, I'm going to say guru, man. He's out here getting it. Mr. Ryan Murphy, man.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Man. No, absolutely, man. Been a long time coming, man.
Yeah.
Me and Ryan connected recently. He came and spoke to the kids at Core Prep about how he transitioned to real estate. And I was like, man, we got to have you on the podcast. So
yeah, thank you for having me. It's awesome.
We start the show off with the wall of hoop movies. Your favorite hoop movie of all time and why?
Definitely Coach Carter. And my why is, I think I just grew up watching it so much and you find a love for it. And it's a great story too. It's about a coach who comes in, takes over and makes them incredible. Like the whole team was incredible, so. Yeah. And Cruz, the actor, watched me play at Hacks way back when. So that's when I kind of was like, all right, this is my movie now. this is pretty awesome. So yeah.
Had you ever had a coach that intense?
Yeah, actually, I played in. It's not around anymore, but remember the ARC league?
Yes.
I played for a coach. I believe his name was Coach Dawkins.
Okay. If
you remember him at all, or if I don't even know how he's doing now, but yeah, that was probably the most intense coach I think I've ever had. And that counts everyone involved. Yeah, he was tough.
How do you respond to that intensity?
You got to look at it like he means well. He just wants the most out of you at the end of the day, and you can't take it personal. I never took any of that stuff personal anyway, but I mean, I think I was like 10, if you want the truth. I think I was like 10 or 11. We were really good. We went to like nationals and won, or like came in third or something, but yeah, he was nuts. He was intense.
I think that's around the age where you get introduced to some toughness.
I think you have to. Yeah. Around like 12, 13 years old is have someone kind of tell you like what it is and give you some little guidance, I guess, is a nice way to word it, into doing the right things. So for sure, he was tough. Yeah.
So when did you fall in love with basketball?
There's a really cool picture my mom has of me. I think I was like 3 or 4, and it's just me with like a little basketball, and I just started trying to dribble around our house, and we had a couch in our house that was my basketball hoop, basically, and I would watch the Lakers play with Kobe and Shaq, and I'd shoot on the couch. Man. And that's when it made me love basketball. So Kobe is one of my main reasons on why I love basketball.
Man, that's awesome. I know, and your dad, if you guys don't know, Big Murph is a shooter, a knockdown shooter, man. I'm sure you had that basketball in your hands at a pretty young age and help guide. I mean, all you guys, right? You and all your brothers can shoot the crap out the ball. And so, yeah, man, I'm like torn between with my daughter putting the ball in her hand and not. So I just leave the basketballs out and she just pick it up and dribble it sometimes. And kind of do
starting to feel it out.
I'm going to push her. My son, I'm trying to push him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, here, take this.
Yeah, like you have to do this.
Yeah, you have to. But no, my dad played at the University of Bridgeport, which a lot of people don't know. He actually, I think, made it to the Final Four in Elite. I know for sure he went to the Elite Eight, maybe the Final Four too in Division II. And he was a really good shooter, obviously. The Adult 360 Health Club knows that pretty well. He's a corner specialist. He has no movement anymore, so he's a great free throw shooter now. But I mean, honestly, just so thankful for him and just being in the gym with us, even after long days of work or like before work, I'd say, let's go shoot. He was never like, no. It was turned into one-on-one. Ended up always turning into one-on-one, but just super grateful for him and what he put in front of me with basketball, and totally changed my whole life. I don't know where I'd be at without basketball or anything. So in that respect,
this thing takes us on a journey.
Oh, for sure.
Did he teach you how to shoot?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I have this theory that when a dad teaches a kid how to shoot, they're shooters.
I mean, look at Steph.
Right.
Look at Steph. His dad taught him how to shoot. Clay's dad taught him how to shoot. And my dad could really shoot. One thing my dad used to try to get me, and we would do it in the car. This is how nuts I was and determined. He had a thing with his wrist that he could push his wrist back really far when he would shoot. I couldn't do it. So I'd be in the car pressing my hand when he would drive against the glove box. And he used to say, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm trying to get my wrist back so I can shoot. And I was actually still can't do it, never able to do it like him, but it was amazing experience. Just waking up and coming outside doing form shooting with your dad or even my brother. Like it's just, it was fun. We looked forward to it every day. Sweet. And you grow the love for it. You know? Yeah. Especially when you get better. That's the thing. When you're good, you're like, oh wow, like okay.
You kind of knew what it did.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting a feel for this. I'm starting to really see my growth versus other people, and that's kind of what I started to fall in love with. Was like, oh, I'm getting good.
Yeah. Nice. And so when did you you grew up in the Valley?
Yeah, so I was born in New York. I was raised in Calabasas and Malibu, Hidden Hills area kind of my whole life. And then we moved. I went to school my freshman and sophomore year actually in the East Coast and junior year in the East Coast. Yeah.
What school was it?
I was at a school called Fairfield Prep for 2 years in Connecticut. I had Pascal Chukwu with me, who's about 7'3". He played at Syracuse. He's somewhere overseas now. Really good dude, great player. And I ended up finishing my career at Calabasas High School, which was kind of like my coming back party is what we nicknamed it.
It was a party. Guys.
We had enough time.
Buckets. So before that, what was the AAU scene like for you growing up in LA? You know, what we were talking about earlier, you had ARC and those types of leagues. And when did the development get serious for you and you knew that this was a real thing?
I think around the age of 12 to 13, I was out living. We moved here when I was like give or take 8. And I became friends and still best friends with Tristan Gebbia, who was an uber amazing football player. If you don't know who he is, played at Oregon State and was a starting quarterback, played at Nebraska, and I think he's going to coach at Ohio State now, or Oregon State. He's just a phenomenal athlete, and we just loved working out together. And then just down the line, just basketball, like you said, takes you to crazy places and people you never know you'd meet. And I got connected to Pooh Richardson. Shout out to Pooh. Around 12 years old. And we just started working out. And I liked Pooh. Pooh was hilarious. He was fun, but he was teaching me so much at a young age, and he's an amazing ex-NBA player. And I just started to really love the game. And then you get to be around people who appreciate it and love it. And at like 12, 13, I'm like, wait, this is amazing. Like, this is so cool. And you build your best friends, and then your friends love it. So it's like, instead of going out and partying or going to a party at like 12, 13, we're like, want to go outside and play one-on-one. And that's what it kindly, slowly builds into, is you really love it. Like, you don't care about anything else besides basketball and your family and whatever else you really care about. But
no, I compare that now to kids playing video games. Like for them, like we have video games, but we would play on the weekends maybe sometimes. But they choose to play video games rather than go hoop now, and that's what we, like. I wish they understood what 20 extra minutes does every single day to your game, and sacrificing something that. Video games are fun, but if you're really serious about this, then they're literally taking away from who you can become through this game. So.
And something to touch on with technology is like, I think we see these new clips, which is awesome, like a day in the life of a Kevin Durant or whoever else you want to name, like a Devin Booker or whoever, day in the life. You're getting a glimpse of a guy's life.
Right.
And he's probably worked out 2 or 3 times that day, did a massage, physical therapy, maybe he went on 2 runs, did sprints, and you're just seeing a glimpse of him playing a video game at night. It's also like, well, to respect, he's made it. Like, this guy doesn't have to, he doesn't have to necessarily grind nearly as hard. Now it's just maintenance work. While I'm telling my brother, while you're on the game, some kid in China or Europe is working on a jab step, pump fake layup, on a jump rope, on a run. I'm not saying kill your body and like necessarily overwork, but this is what you're doing with your hour of free time. Why not? What did you shoot last year at the free throw line? You shot 70%. Well, let's go make 100 free throws. It'll take you 25 minutes, 20 minutes. Why are we not? If you're serious about it, if you're not, then go play the game. I was never a gamer. I was never good at video games. I was only good at Fortnite for a short period of time. And that was during COVID when we literally couldn't leave our house. So I felt like, okay, this is a good time to maybe try it. And I still was bored. I think I was in the best shape of my life during COVID because I was so bored. You just work out all day. Yeah, go hoop. Hoop in the back. Just go play basketball all day. And I don't get the video game thing. I'm all for it. Do it. It's cool. Stream. I'll even watch every once in a while, but I'm just not a gamer myself necessarily.
No, I think there's something to say for people who are listening that the kids, because I think there's a perception, right, that, growing up in Calabasas, Hidden Hills, Malibu, if you know about that area, it's an affluent area, right?
Yeah.
But you never let that define you. Your work ethic and your focus and your commitment to the game was very evident in how you played and how much you were literally I've never seen him outside of the gym. Ever.
Like, you probably never
360 for 3 hours. Then he'll go to Calabasas and shoot. Then he'll be at the lake the next run, all in the same day. Right? You're just a straight gym rat, and how much that means to the game and where you're going, and even where you come from, though, because you didn't have to do that. No. You could have learned your dad's business. You could have learned you'd done something else, but you wanted to create your own path.
Yeah, and I think it actually all comes back to my father. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're very blessed. But growing up, my dad came from a tough situation. It wasn't what I grew up in, which I'm blessed and grateful for, but I knew where he came from, where my mom came from, and their backgrounds and a lot about our family. And I was like, I don't want to have that kind of situation ever in my life, honestly. So, and I also get to see my dad wake up and go on flights to China at 3 o'clock in the morning for work, for our family. He would miss, and sorry, Mom, first grade graduation, second grade graduation, he missed those. I don't care, I'm a kid, but he has to go work and provide for our family. So the way I looked at it was, okay, take his mindset that he has towards finance and business and how successful he's become. If I can just put that into basketball, why can't I correlate the two? And I got to see him wake up at 5 a.m. for a call in New York, like an 8:30 call. It's 5:30 here. He's up at 4:30 preparing. I was like, if I start waking up at 5 o'clock, I can probably get up 1,000 makes by 7 in the morning. Yep. And then I can go play, because I'm not tired. All I did was stand in one spot, maybe some light stuff. And then I can go play for 2 hours. I'll go take a nap. It's LA. I'll go lift at my LA Fitness 10 minutes away. Like, I started to kind of pick up, and I'm not saying Mamba mentality, because I did not have the Kobe summers of dedication like that. I don't think anyone genuinely does. It's incredible. But I started to adopt that kind of mindset of like, if I can just outwork someone an extra 15 minutes or 25 minutes, like he did when he saw the announcer from Duke who walked into the gym when he was working out. I don't remember his name. He got hit by the motorcycle.
Jay Williams?
Thank you, yeah. He was there and he was watching Kobe work out, and Kobe told him after the game, I stayed 45 minutes later because you walked in. Just to let you know you won't outwork me. And when I heard him, that story, I was like, I have everything stacked against me in basketball. I'm not tall. I'm not gonna be the fastest. Yeah, I can jump high, but I'm not gonna out-jump a lot of people. I'm physical, but I'm not a big bruiser. So I had to be able to just know I have to be in the best shape. I have to be willing to die out here. That was my mentality. Like, you're not gonna beat me. If you are, you beat us, sure, but like, I'm gonna come at you every time. And that's kind of just the approach I started to take with basketball. Yeah. And then you love it too. You really start to genuinely like, it's not like I'm fighting this. It's like, I wake up, I have a basketball tattooed on me. Yeah, like you love it. Like, you genuinely love the game. Like, I still watch every game. I still watch like 8th grader kids coming up on Instagram highlights, your videos. I'm addicted. My whole Instagram is just basketball and houses. It's the two things I like. I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. Man, yeah.
You've been able to build a career out of that. We'll get to it later.
Yeah, for sure.
I do want to touch on something you said, because I think a lot of kids struggle with this and have an understanding. You're very mature when you were younger. You're the oldest, right?
Yeah, yeah,
so
oldest
you had to
of the 3.
Step up.
Yeah.
And when their parents have to work and they miss these events in life, you took it as, my dad's working hard, I got to match that.
Yeah, totally.
Was it something that you ever struggled with? And what was your mindset that led you to making it a positive thing to push you to the next level?
That's a really good question. Shout out to my mom. She would lie to us. I'm sorry, Mom, but she would literally be like, oh, he's just in the back. And I'm like, I know he's not. I know he's at work. Like, I heard him leave. I heard the garage open. I heard the car start, So, I looked at it as just, I don't know, my parents did a really good job of raising me. I was always raised around older people. I never played my age also, which is why I think I got the perception of like, oh, he's older. It was like, no, I'm 11 playing 14U and 13U. I see how older kids act. I see how they are. And I think it was very beneficial that my father also put me playing against older kids. So then it was time to come and play. In 8th and 7th grader, I've been playing kids who drove themselves here. And kids who were going through puberty, kids who were almost becoming grown men. And now I'm back to playing my age group. So I think I took everything, honestly, as just a way from how I saw my father work and my mom, and just put it towards my craft. And I think if you're going to do something, do it with real effort, real love, and you'll get the best out of it. And I think I got, as far as I could, the best out of it, for sure.
Were your parents telling you these things, though? Or like, it was just something you saw?
No, it was just...
You were doing what you saw, not what you heard, necessarily.
Yeah, I felt like it was common sense. Like, and I actually had this conversation with my dad in like 6th, 7th grade, and I was like, he made a joke, how do you get at math? You do math homework. How do you get at ball handling? Dribble a ball. So I literally started taking a basketball with me everywhere I went. There was no place you could find me. I remember, this is actually pretty cool. I don't know if you were in these runs, Sunday at Calabasas in the rec center. Way back when, a couple years back. It was like Brian Russell, Mitch Richmond.
Oh, I used in the mornings.
Yeah,
like
early morning.
Yeah, I went a couple times. Yeah.
So my dad would take me, and me and Brandon Russell, Low-B Russ, we would go and play on the other court for, I don't know, those runs would last like 3 hours, 4 hours. Yeah. Nobody's doing anything on Sunday in LA, honestly. It is what it is in the morning. So we were there for hours, and I just remember like, wait, if I could dribble 1 ball, could I dribble 2? And I just started watching, honestly, YouTube a little bit too. Like, what are these guys doing? And I started watching like Was that his name from the Nets? I
Yeah,
remember
Marshawn Brooks,
thank
bucket
you.
getter. Man.
Cold hooper, man.
I seen him drop 62 at Shepherd during the summer league game.
Great basketball player.
Crazy, yeah.
I don't know what he's doing now, but great player. I assume
China, he's like a legend.
I was about to say, I
Yeah.
assume he's overseas and he's got like a statue somewhere. He was so good, and his YouTube videos, I used to steal his workouts. So when I was like 13 years old, I would just go watch him, and I was like, okay, he's doing 2-ball crossover. How do I do a 2-ball crossover? And then every day, I would just spend 15 minutes on something new. Yeah. And I knew my left hand was terrible growing up. Same thing. I would literally I can brush my teeth with both hands. Left hand, right hand. More comfortable doing things with my left than I am with my right. And then you have to work on that, but you just love it.
It's you just do it every day.
Yeah, of course. And that's how I stole that all from my dad. To circle it back, I just saw his dedication to his craft, and I was like, I don't want to be in finance, so how do I navigate this? You know, how do I take your work ethic and your persistence and professionalism? Honestly, I know I was young, and kids say wild things and do wild things, but every time I was on the court, I always was like, I have to carry myself like a professional. I have to think like, if I'm going to train like a pro, you better act like one. Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying like don't have fun, but if I'm going to spend hours of my own money and time on this, just to not take this seriously, then why am I doing one or the other? So.
Yeah, man, that's amazing that you had that maturity. It's very rarely you find kids that young who have that maturity at that age to do it. I've met a couple. Johnny Juzang had that.
Totally.
Sky Clark had that.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like kids have that just like, oh, I'm a pro. Like this is how you act.
And the two people you named, one of them just signed an amazing contract. Shout out to Johnny, that's my guy. He just signed with Salt Lake. And I mean, Sky Clark, I'll be shocked if he doesn't get drafted next year. And even if he stays in college, whatever, look at what he did at Louisville. Look at what he's done with his whole career.
Regardless.
How he carries himself. If you talk, that's what I'm saying, just the way they carry themselves, the work ethic, the dedication to the craft. Like, the workout starts at 12. I'm not rolling in at 12:05 with two of my buddies and flip-flops on. No, if the workout's at 12, I'm there probably 11:30, 11:45. Even if you have a whole other thing going on, you could be playing pickup, you could be not even there. I'm foam rolling, I'm stretching, because if you don't take that seriously, or even like with work, you're not going to show up to an appointment at 12:10 for a 12 o'clock. You're going to get fired. And that's how I looked at everything I did. Maybe it totally annoyed certain people throughout my career that I really took it that seriously and saw it as a job every time, because I didn't want to do anything else.
Yeah, I bet they didn't go to Pitt.
No, they definitely didn't. No, that's definitely true.
What was it like? So, why did you go to the East Coast for high school, and what was your experience like? It was a prep school, correct?
Yeah. So, interesting enough, I finished 8th grade at Chaminade Middle School, which not a lot of people know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went to Chaminade Middle School, and when I was there, my father got offered a job opportunity back in New York City, and why wouldn't you take a better job? It's just common sense. So he took the job, and I was pleading with my parents to let me live with my best friend. I was like, I don't want to leave. And then he was like, just come out here. And I loved it. The people were great at Fairfield Prep. The coach, his name was Leo, he was great. Pascal was also kind of an easy one. When I sat down with him, he's like, you want to play? I was like, yeah, this would be great. I have a legit rim protector.
Right.
And it was totally a different style of basketball. West Coast basketball and East Coast basketball, no matter, Northeast I'll say, is completely different than how we play in Cali. It's totally different. The structure of just how they play, physical, the game, it was totally different. But I lost the state championship my first year, and we won the second year, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, which was incredible, and I loved it. And then I went my junior year, I left this out to Wilbraham and Munson. I bounced around a little bit because of my dad's job, and I broke my foot actually at Fairfield Prep as a sophomore. So that's kind of how we get down to later down the story. But I ended up going to Wilbraham Munson, played for a guy named Tim Mannix, who was a great coach, great dude. They actually just produced the NBA player from Duke. The big white kid, I don't remember his name. Yeah, he's at Utah, right? Yeah. So he
just signed a $12 million deal too?
There you go. And he went to Wilbraham Munson Academy then Duke. So Wilbraham Munson Academy was up in Massachusetts, and it's in Wilbraham. I nicknamed it the Pinky Toe of America because you don't ever pay it attention or care. Sorry, Wilbraham. I said that when I was there every day. But it was a life-changing experience. At those two schools, I played in front of probably over 100 college coaches.
It's different in the Northeast.
And I played a team that had Donovan Mitchell, Justin Simon. Oh, they had the lights, David Chris from Wash. So we have Arizona, we have Donovan Mitchell, who's a killer. Right. And Justin Simon too, killer. And you have Dave Crisp, who was the lefty shooter who went to UW. And they had a big white kid named Jared Reuter going to Florida. That was, and I had Wenyen Gabriel on my team. So it was me, Wenyen, and a
Okay.
kid named Curtis Cobb, who's playing overseas, Derek Newton, who's overseas. And I mean, we're talking about some prime
Yeah,
basketball.
that's some like
Like,
pro. Everybody's a pro.
yeah, and shout out to the NEPSAC. It's a great league. You got Brewster, Wilbraham, Northfield, Mount Herman, but it's a grind. Like, we're wearing a uniform like I said, I'm from LA. I wear look at me, I'm rolling in here, sweatpants. It's, you come in and it's a different vibe, but there I was in a blazer every day, shirt tucked in, belt. I was like, man, I'm from Cali. I'm not really used to wearing this stuff, but it really does prepare you for college. Like, there's legit study hours. Like, it kind of really maps it out your life.
If you could do it again, would you take your junior and senior year to do that, or you like doing it early on with your freshman and sophomore year? I know the experience part, saying the seriousness of the level of basketball for someone who's trying to pursue a college career. I have a lot of kids asking about prep schools in that area. It's like,
it's tough. You better be ready to play. And I think my freshman and sophomore year woke me up and made me what I needed to become for my junior and senior year. NEPSAC league is extremely difficult. There are NBA players coming out left and right out of that league. I mean, Brewster alone, what he's been able to build, I believe the coach's name is Jason, and he's still there. Great dude. I actually, after Calabasas, was talking to him about maybe sending Gavin there and just figuring that out. But those prep schools are no joke. I mean, there are some names I could throw out that people don't even remember, or they're my age, like Mustafa Heron. He's a dog, great player. I mean, he was tough. Lefty from Connecticut. Good Luck, who played at UNLV. Max Holtzel actually went there. He's from California. He's a Calabasas kid. Played at the University of Indiana and San Diego State. He went to Wilbraham. I'm leaving out pros. Nerlens Noel went there to Tilton with Wayne Selden. That's what I'm saying. That league, you better be ready to play. Like, there are some guys out, and this is what kids don't understand. That's their last chance. Like, I had guys on my team that were like, dude, if I don't get a scholarship, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Like, I don't know. I can't go back home. Everyone I know is not in a good situation. Like, this is my only chance. So I got to see that a lot too growing up. Is like, my teammates would tell me, like, I have nothing else. That's all I got. So it's a different level. And I would say a little bit of weight on their shoulders and certain guys' shoulders when they're at a NEPSAC. Like, hey, this is all I got. Like, certain guys don't go home for Christmas. Certain guys stay because they have nothing else. So I learned quickly, like, first practice was a wake-up call at the NEPSAC. I'll tell you that. It was very tough. And that's when I was like, okay, there's another level. Because you think you reach a certain level, and then you meet another guy or another teammate or another player that's like, another whole other level.
Yeah, because their why is different. Their why is
the reason. Or even the love of it, or their determination, or everything else in the background. This is seriously, my only way out is this, and I nothing else distracting me. This is all. I can't go home to my mom without 10 scholarships. Like, it's not happening, or else I'm not going to school. So, as a 15-year-old and 16-year-old seeing that at an early age and hearing that, like, really embracing that, I didn't take on that persona, but in my brain I did.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, this is all I got. And NEPSAC's tough. I'm forgetting probably over 100 pros that have ran through the NEPSAC league, but it's, I would tell them, don't do it unless you're really serious. Unless you live and breathe this and you're ready to do whatever, don't do it. The NEPSAC league, because it'll eat you alive and spit you out. And we made it all the way to the playoffs, and it was great. I loved it. I remember Wenyen Gabriel, a couple highlights of Wenyen that were just incredible. Sometimes I throw him the ball and he would do something nuts, and I'm like, wow. Yeah, he was awesome in high school. He was so raw too. He would just come down the lane, dunk it with his left hand, and then seeing him play in the Olympics was awesome. Super cool. Here you go. We played, like, one team was Hamidou Diallo, who is on Pistons or OKC now, a great friend of mine. They had a kid named Chuba, so Hami's about 6'7", 6'6". They had a kid named Chuba who went to Fordham that was like 6'8". Their point guard went to George Washington. Their other big man played at UConn, and their backup big went to Iowa State.
Their backup big.
Yeah, and I think their main big man went to, like, Arkansas or something, some SEC school. But 1 through 7 is going Power 5. Yeah. So it's like, if you're not ready to play, because there were some games I'd be like, man, I had 20. And then we played Cushing Academy, and they had Makayash and Langford. Wow, Wabisi, who's now coach at Texas A&M. I mean, you just look around, you're like, oh wow. Everyone you want to play against, that you think you can play against, might be in that league. So
that's tough.
You better be ready. It's tough.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that raises your game.
Yeah, totally.
Coming back to California, going to Calabasas, coming home. We were all excited. It was like, what is he going to do?
Yeah.
Tell us about just coming home and being able to play in front of family, and really carrying Calabasas places.
Yeah, that was a really cool experience. So my best friend, Tristan Jebbia, to bring it all back, he lived in Hidden Hills. I had my family living in Connecticut, and we were moving to Calabasas. So I actually stayed at Tristan's house for like the first month of school because my parents were like, we need to find a place, we got to figure this out. And I had Coach Pilars and Colin Jamerson. Colin and I, if you don't know Colin, he's great.
Game timers.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say now, but back in the day of my generation, I think it was very hard to beat us because we all grew up together, we all played together, so we were very tough. That was one of the AAU teams, Colin. I think it was my first or second AAU team was Colin of all time, and it was like a 5-year stint where we just all stayed together and played together, and Colin ends up being the assistant coach at Calabasas. I wasn't sure where I was going to go. People knew I was looking at schools. I met with a couple schools. I met with Taft.
Because Derek was there?
Kie, because you had Kie and you had Mitch Lightfoot. Yeah. And I still talk to Mitch and I still talk to Kie. And they had one other guy that was pretty good, Brandon, I believe, long athletic guard. He was pretty good. And I was like, we can win a state championship here. Now, mind you, Lonzo and LaMelo and Jello and Big O are all down in Chino. Right. So I'm thinking,
and you got Bishop Montgomery.
Don't forget about David and Ethan and the twins.
Some great Southern California.
So I'm saying, so that during that time period, even Dorsey, they had Lafayette, Tommy. I'm thinking in my head, I'm going to go win a state championship. And then I met with Coach Pilars at Calabasas, and he basically was like, what do I need to do to make you comfortable? I was like, I want the keys to the gym. Seriously, I want to be able to come in here whenever I say I want to come in here and work, because it might be at 2 a.m. and I know you're not coming. I might need it at 12. So we kind of made an agreement that it was possible to do. I didn't get the keys, but we worked it out. And then Colin was just a big part of my life growing up in terms of basketball and spending a lot of time together early. So I trusted Colin. And I was like, I'm coming to Calabasas, dude. I was like, let's do it. And first day on campus, people were like, oh, shit. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Oh, let's see how good he is. And I remember like first play in practice, I think I like ripped through, took one dribble and like banged it on a kid's head. And they were like, oh. Because I was coming in with that mindset. And it's tryouts. I was like, I had like my shirt off. And I'm not saying do this, but I was like 17, I think, with, I have tattoos. And they were like, kids from Calabasas are like, whoa, like this kid came in here tatted up, dunking on people. He's not really talking to anyone. Shock. Yeah, and I'm here. I have that vision where that's like, no, I'm in kill mode. And then I was lucky enough to have two really good teammates at Calabasas. Josh Wrangler, I'll give him a shout out because he made some big shots for me. And a kid named Kevin. His last name I still butcher till this day, say it on. But those two dudes, I couldn't have won any games without them. Josh was my if I'm getting doubled, I would just only look for Josh. And then Kevin was just this big, tough Persian kid who's a bruiser, and he would tell, he's like, I don't need to score. He's like, I'm just going to set screens and rebound, and whatever you need, I'm here for. And we kind of built a chemistry, and I've known guys from Calabasas forever, so I thought it was really cool to come back. But it was some people loved it, some people did not like it. The Mormonte League did not like it. Our league did not like it, and me and Max Heidegger have some legendary battles in high school, and he's actually one of my best friends. We're on the phone on the way here. So we were just talking. We were actually reminiscing.
Where's he at now?
Max is actually done playing. Or excuse me, let me not put that out there. Max might be done playing, and we talked about this. He's so good at basketball, though.
Ridiculous, man.
He was also on my game timers team. Think about that. Those two guards right there. And he's so good at basketball. He's a great human being. He's one of the funniest guys. He also is similar to me. We didn't have to play basketball. We just loved it. And Max is
another gym rat, crazy.
Gym rat.
Always in the gym.
Max is just like me. If you want to go find Max, he's probably at one of the runs at LMU. If he's in town, he's either at the run or he's with Zach, who trains a lot of those guys, or he'll be at the beach in Santa Monica doing Malibu doing the sand dunes, that crazy stand hill. We did it for fun the other day while I was doing work calls, just 4 times, just going up and down.
How did you guys end up your junior and senior year with Calabasas?
Man, so senior year was legendary. I mean, my brother Gavin might have beaten my record. I got to check and ask Pilars, but I think I held the record for most points scored in 1 year since the school's been active. And we were 30-5. I remember we did beat Dorsey. We beat Middlebrooks, which had 7 guys go high major with Milan Aqua, Duran Henson, Luca, who played at Colorado, white kid, tall dude, went to Wyoming, and it's me and my buddies.
Right.
And I remember coming in there, and we were
Torching them.
Yeah, you said
I'll
it.
say for you.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a word. I was going to say we embarrassed them. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
If you want the truth, I think we came into their gym and they looked at us. And that was the other thing I loved about Calabasas is guys would look down the other end and they're like, okay, they got one player. Everyone else looks soft. And I kind of took it upon
You
myself.
can say it if they see all these small white guys.
They see all
on the
these
other
sorry,
side.
they see all these sorry
like,
white
these
guys,
sorry white guys on the other side of the
and
court.
like Persian dudes. They're looking over there, just like,
Yeah.
who are these kids? And no one's dunking. There's no windmills. There's no loud. There's no. You don't feel our energy. But by the time we walk over to the huddle, I got my 4 guys around me, and I'm like, we're gonna kill them. We're gonna go after them. We're gonna make them feel pressure. We're gonna make them feel stupid. I'm like, talk crap, get in their face. I'm like, you got me behind you. I'm like, also, they're not going to hit you. If they do, cool, we get 2 free throws. I'm like, go up to them and embarrass them, talk trash. So I convinced our backup shooting guard to come into the game and just get up in the best player's face on the team and be like, dude, you suck. Imagine a kid with floppy hair. You got 25 points. He's like a little overweight walking up to you going, and that's a different mindset to these kids. And that's what I saw at my prep school.
Yeah.
We're tough. We're going to talk trash. We're going to get in your face. We're going to be tough to beat. And I took that and I was like, look, you guys are kind of soft. I gotta spark a fuse under some of you guys and get it going. And that's what we did. And we came in and we beat, I remember we beat a really good team. One of the kids played at UNLV, Lou played, he's always in the Drew League.
Yes.
We beat them as well. Bishop Montgomery beat the crap out of us. I remember that. But for the most part, it was, we were really tough. And I think that's what made us so great, was just our toughness. We could score, we could shoot. Obviously, we could shoot. It's Calabasas. They're all just going to stand around 3-point line. So, but we brought a different toughness that I don't think teams were used to. Like, if we knocked you down, we're not helping you up. We might, step on you. Like that, I was like, I don't care. Like, show them you're not going to back down, because they already coming into this. Oh, you're from Calabasas, Calabasas. I'll do the air quotes. Everyone thinks that, and then it's like, no, we're going to punch you in the face, and I'm going to tell you, like, my boy Josh might give you 40 tonight. He's only going to get 6 shots. Sorry, Josh. I'm not passing that much, but he's gonna be tough, and that's what I think I installed in those guys, was just believing in themselves. More so, like, I don't care if you're that good, but just play hard. If you play hard, we might get an extra loose ball, which leads to a layup, which might lead to even a deflection. Like, I'm like, just try it, and it really did. I remember some interesting times where I was like trying to get them tough. Like, I don't say do this, but I hit one of my teammates during practice because I was just like, dude, you're being soft, and I got kicked out of practice. But the next day, I watched him when we played Agora almost tackle a kid who ran through a screen on him, and he was like, "You won't ever do that." I was like, "Yes." Like a Kobe Sasha Vujacic moment where he elbows him. He's like, "Come on, man." And that's why I was thinking, like, dude, you got to be tough. Like, if you're worried about me, wait till you worry about like Ethan Thompson coming down the lane or David Singleton hitting 2 threes and picking you up 94 feet. So like, I was trying to install that in them, and obviously we were playing like extremely high level teams and then mediocre teams. So it was great, but. Yeah, I'm hoping.
I like that, just having that mindset.
Hoping Pilaris puts my jersey up there. So Coach Pilaris, we got to talk about. Yeah.
We're gonna invite you on the show, and then we're just gonna that's what we're gonna do.
Put the jersey up there. There's one hanging up there. It's not mine, so I'm like, all right, I need to get mine up there. But unbelievable experience. Coach Pilaris is great. Runs a great program. Colin Jamerson's now the head coach of El Camino. Yep. I assume he's gonna do a great job with El Camino. Anywhere Colin's gone, he's done well. Same with Coach Pilaris. So those 2 dudes were great. And fun. That's the thing too. I love genuinely having fun too. When you love something, you want to have fun too. So we had fun everywhere. Everywhere I played, I always had fun, which was important too. Because you can take it seriously, but you still have to smile. Like, at the end of the day, love it. So we had fun. I got my Calabasas ring actually in my room still. So I look at it. Yeah.
You didn't say what you did. You just talked about how fun it was. You guys want to see how.
Oh yeah. We won.
That's what I was getting
we
to.
won a lot. Yeah, we won a lot. We were 30. Don't quote me on this. I think 30-5, maybe like 28-5 or something. But we only lost to Bishop Montgomery, and we lost to Bonita.
Oh yeah.
Man, Bonita was good. They had some kid go to LMU, and when I went,
they just played different.
We couldn't beat them. They beat us by like 2 and 3, and I'm going one-on-one, top of the key. So I'm coming down just going straight ISO work. But it was incredible. We won our league. We won our region. We won everything you can win besides the actual state or the open division, because we were in open division. Right. And after we beat Bonita, it would have been Chino Hills. So I was like, you know what?
That's right. We'll stop there.
I know my limits. I'm very smart here. I was like, I'm going to get mine, but you guys might not ever see the ball this game if we play Chino. But no, it was unbelievable. We won every Christmas. We won the Christmas tournament. We won the tournament, which included Middlebrooks Academy and everyone else. We were incredible. Tough team, and we won a lot. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So what was college recruitment like for you coming out of high school?
Oh, this is a legendary story. My college recruitment was a roller coaster. Freshman year, I was on fire. I had Arizona flying out to see me play in Connecticut. I had Washington State, and they were like, wow, like this kid's great. And then sophomore year rolls around, played AAU, picked up like give or take 15 scholarships that summer just as a freshman, but it doesn't mean anything. And that's what like some kids should really understand. A scholarship means nothing until it's time for you to actually sign that thing. So it's cool to have 50 offers. You can't pick up that phone and call every head coach. Yeah. So I don't know how serious, like that's why I learned through the process was like, my dad would be like, yeah, San Fran just offered you. And I'm like, who'd they talk to? He's like, me, but I'm like, well, you know, like
they
what
offered you a scholarship.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't even talk to him. So, you know, young, like growing up, cool, it was amazing. Sophomore year, killed it. I was on the verge to be player of the state as a sophomore in Connecticut, which was incredible. It was me, Mustafa, and Pascal all up for it, and I broke my foot, so I missed the remainder of the season, which stunk, and I lost a lot of interest, which was really telling. I was like, wow, a lot of schools just stopped checking in on me. Then that summer I played with Hamidou Diallo in AAU, which was awesome. Nice. Hamidou is, he's still so good. Oh my gosh. Athletic. He would tell me, he would yell at me, he'd be like, Murph, just put it anywhere, I'll go get it. Okay. And I listened to him, and then he introduced me in a way to like the East Coast basketball. So I was playing with him, and then I did like the Gym Couch, I believe it's called, those events in New York, which were great. All the summer stuff. IS8 I played in, which was the New York League, and that was awesome. I love that. It was also kind of a similar Calabasas situation where like my team was me, Raleigh Alkins, and Raleigh would be like, no one knows who you are here, and you look like this. He's like, go nuts. He's like, they have no idea who's walking into the building. So I had Raleigh on my team, which was awesome, and we had so much fun at IS8. And recruitment, dead. No calls that whole summer. I was like, wow. Played my butt off in AAU. I got offered at the end of the summer by Tim Horberg at Iowa State. That's what it was at the end of the summer. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, if he sees something, we must be missing something.
Of course.
The way I looked at it was like, you guys are just coming because another school really likes me. And I had open communication with them, the head coach, the assistant coach, who's now at St. John's, and they wanted me. And I almost committed at the end of the year, but my coach was like, you should wait at the prep school. I was like, okay, cool. No calls that whole year. Just tons of all the letters, and we love your game, come do an unofficial. And my thing was like, you want me to drive all the way for an unofficial just to meet me? I'm like, you can, I'm not being rude, but like, just call me. I don't need to see your practice facility. I'm a hooper. You got a hoop, you got a weight room, you got a cold plunge or whatever you got in there, sauna, whatever. Okay, cool, I'm coming. I just need a bed. Like I wasn't someone that cared about the whole glitz and glamour. I still don't. Yeah. Let's hoop. Like it's basketball. This isn't a fashion show, you know? Yeah. Junior year, dead. No scholarships besides Iowa State. And I didn't count the other ones. People would be like, oh, like my verbal commits looked crazy. And I actually reached out. I was like, can you take these down? I don't know the coach of Cleveland State. I don't know the coach of San Fran. Like as a young kid, I just DM'd them on Twitter. It was like, I don't know these people. I don't feel like they're real. They don't check up on me. I know if I called them and said, hey, I want to come, they'll take me, sure. But that's what I started to learn throughout the process. And I got to see my friends. I think that's something really important to my career with colleges, and how I dictated where I went was through my friends. Getting to see some of my friends who were the best players in the country, see how they navigated college coaches, and I could really tell, like, hey, that coach called you 4 times this month, like the head coach, not the assistant. Or there's a big difference. Yeah. Because the head coach is staying, or if he goes, guess what? He still has the control of scholarships. No disrespect to assistant coaches, but you guys really don't.
It's the truth. And they're always trying to look for a better
And they're trying to get a head job everywhere. If you look at a track record of every great assistant, they end up becoming a head coach. I can quote the one who took over Charlotte, Ron Sanchez, who was at Virginia, great coach at Virginia, came to Charlotte and took over Charlotte. That's when I left Charlotte, but he took over Charlotte, and it just becomes that pattern. So I was very observant, of my friends and how good they were with college coaches.
Understanding recruitment is so important, and you get to see, like you said, what is actually being recruited.
It's like dating.
Everybody gets letters. That's just like, I don't even know what that is. That's what an offer is now.
I feel like it's like a tax write-off for a college. Right. We sent the letter, minus $100 next month. You know, it's like, what? Like,
if they're not talking to you every week, an assistant coach talking to you every week, if the head coach hasn't talked to you at all,
you're not getting it. It's not a real offer.
They're just hanging on to see if their top 2 are actually going to come to them. Yeah. And they have a list of, this is who I want in this position, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're always going to talk to you, and that's how they communicate with you.
You walk into any ACC, SEC, basketball, football, head coach's office or head assistant, because I will say the head assistant in the SEC and ACC and the higher levels is a legit extension of the head coach.
Right.
Like my head coach at Pitt, his brother, or Coach Brown was the head assistant, or I think his brother. But like they're talking all day, every day, and you go in that room, there's a whiteboard of give or take 50 names, and there's a number rack, and it's 1, 2, 3. We lost him. He went to Duke. He's at Carolina. And then you slowly either come up or you drop.
Yeah.
And that's something I got to also see with my friends and their recruitment and everything and how I got to weed it out. So my recruitment process was nuts. And senior year, come to Calabasas, I had every coach in the country calling in the beginning of the year. Because I was like, I don't care about rankings, but
You played for, is this when, what AAU did you play
I was with AAU. I played with PSA Scan. I don't know if they're called that anymore. I think it's PSA Cardinals or something. Played with them. Then I played with Hamidou Diallo with the New York City Jayhawks. Shout out to my guy Jay. He's awesome too. If anyone's in New York watching this, he runs an amazing AAU program. He's as real as it gets. And he genuinely cares. That's the other thing too, is figuring out people who, I think you talked about in one of your podcasts, the relationships.
Yeah.
It's not transactional in basketball.
Yeah.
I don't gain anything out of being your friend or helping you.
Right.
I should want to do that and not look for the kickback in return or whatever is expected. And that's how he was in New York. So he was amazing. And then I played for Dream Vision too, as well. That team was unbelievable. We had Billy Preston, me, Billy, Derek Thornton at one point. That's one of my best friends actually, still to this day.
Where's
Steven,
he playing at?
he's overseas.
Okay.
He's overseas. He's still. He's still that good. He is still that good. He posts on Instagram time to time like his stats. I saw one time he had like 28 and 10. I'm like, he's a freak athlete. Derek is an incredible dude, athlete, teammate. And I had Chase Jeter on my team too. If you remember him, played at Duke. He's now overseas actually as well, Arizona guy. I mean, we had a really good team. We had a lot of really good players come in and out of that program that, you know, it was like a culture, Dream Vision. At one point, it was like Shabazz Muhammad, Winston Shepard, just that kind of group that like stayed together. There was a kid named Steven Domingo who was incredible to watch. He played at Georgetown. So I was with that group a lot. And then senior year rolls around, just a bunch of people calling. No offers though. It was very weird. I still had Iowa State. That was the thing. They still came to games. They still checked in. Yeah. But Coach Horberg let me know like, hey, I'm probably gonna bounce. I was like, oh, where are you going? He was like, the league. I was like, okay. Yeah. And then the other assistant, I think, went to St. John's. And I was looking at my dad like, I'm not going to St. John's. My dad actually got his master's degree, I believe, from St. John's. Okay. So when he was like, he's at St. John's, I was like, I'm not going to St. John's, dude. I was like, hey, man, there's no chance. Like, I just got out of the East Coast. I'm not going back. And, of course, I went back. So senior year, nothing. End of the year, one of the top players, I think like ESPN gave me like 6 or 5 in the state or something crazy like that. It was just an incredible year. I mean, dunking on people, scoring, hitting threes, like really performing. Like I was really proud of my performance overall that year and all the things that we accomplished. To just not get one phone call was crazy to me. I had UNLV all over me. They offered me. Whole coaching staff got fired a week later. New coaching staff took over, didn't even call, one text. I was like, okay, cool, canceled that visit. San Francisco, same thing, whole coaching staff fired. I'm like, wow, okay. So a couple schools that really liked me, they're gone. And I'm like, where are they going? I don't want to go to those programs. And it wasn't like an ego thing, or I have to be in like, you know, these kids all think too, sometimes I have to be in the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12. No, you don't. To go like, look at Damian Lillard, look at some of these amazing players, look at Steph Davidson. Like, so I was navigating that, which was tricky. Played for Jules V. I was one of his first teams at Cali Stars. Amazing team, Adam Seiko, Cody Riley, Terrell Gomez, if you remember. I wonder if they still call him Go. I don't remember his nickname, but he was cold. Oh man, he's overseas killing too. Yeah. Great dude, great player. So I played with amazing guys and got offered by a lot of junior colleges during that open period. And then one game I just exploded. I think I had like 45. Like I think I was just going nuts. And Mark Price's assistant was there, Coach Gray, I think it was, or Coach Fancher, one of those two. I got a phone call from Mark Price. Not a lot of people can say Mark Price called you. I was like, I missed it. I didn't answer because I didn't recognize the phone number. I'm picking that up. I don't know, it's Charlotte number. I'm like, then the text I got was, hi, this is, Mark Price. I'm the head coach of Charlotte. And I wrote back, you're Mark Price. That was my response. And then he called me. And we just started talking, and he invited me to their elite camp. He's like, look, I got one scholarship. and I don't know, I want to give it to a younger cat. And I went to that elite camp, and Alex O'Connell was there, who's also a buddy of mine. And I saw him warming up, and I knew about him, and I was just like, oh man, they're gonna give it to this kid. Ends up like walking past me, we're talking, just talking about basketball. I'm like, oh, you're a year younger? Cool. I was like, okay. I was like, great. So I ended up getting the scholarship. I killed at the elite camp. It was awesome. Coach Price was, and his staff was great when I was there. So yeah, kind of a crazy path in terms of recruiting, but I learned, honestly, as like a junior, when it kind of went quiet, you can't get too high on the highs, you can't get too low on the lows. Like, basketball's a weird sport where I genuinely feel if you really work hard, do the right thing, off the court too. Like, I know people are like, oh, off the court doesn't. Yeah, it does. Like, if you treat your body and eat like crap, you're sorry, I'm gonna outperform you because I have better things in my body. But if you do all the right things, you work hard, and eventually you will get an opportunity. That's what people don't get. Basketball, there will be an opportunity for you. You just better do the right thing when you do. And luckily, I was in certain rooms at certain times where I did play well in front of people, or say the right thing, or not, curse out your teammate instead, just shut up, do the right thing. Like, and I think that all of that stuff navigated me to Coach Price eventually to make the right decision, because the rest of it was genuinely a crap show of coaches coming and going and phone calls, and you think they're going to offer you, they don't even call you back, or they text you. It's a roller coaster. That's why I learned you just got to kind of cruise with it and figure it out.
Stay consistent.
Honestly, yeah, just stay in the gym. I tell my little brother this, Gavin, who was so frustrated coming out of Calabasas with no offers. He had like 2, but like I told him they're not really real. Like, I hate to be your big bro and tell you this, but like, Coastal Carolina, they haven't called me, and their whole staff I know, and they offered you. And I only spoke to one assistant once. I'm like, they said they're offering you, yeah, but can you commit right now?
Right.
If it's a real offer, like a job offer, cool, I accept. We're good tomorrow. Tomorrow we shake hands. I'm here at 9 a.m. Ready to go. So I told him that, and I just saw his frustration. I was like, you know how you deal with this? Become the biggest gym rat. I'm like, you can go 2 ways. You're either gonna say, forget this sport, I'm done, I hate it, or you're gonna buckle down and go, I just gotta go a little bit harder. Or what am I not doing right? Let me go watch film. Let me dive back into it. And I think that was what I did with my frustration was, like Colin will tell you, I remember Calabasas High School, I woke up at I lived around the block, so 5 a.m. I'd be in the gym by 5:45. I'd make every morning I was doing this 500 shots, just catch and shoot threes, 500. And then I would work out with Colin after that. So from Colin would get there around 6:45, I work out with Colin from 7 to 8, go home, shower, go to class, and then we had PE still, because you don't have to meet those requirements or whatever in California. And the strength coach was Ryan Coleman, who's also the head coach of Shell Hevitt, who is the coolest dude, great man, great coach. He was our strength coach at Calabasas, also a Calabasas legend as well. And he would train me for an hour. And Ryan is unbelievable with strength and conditioning and everything too. So, and then Pilar's would have open gym from 3 to 5, and I would tell him I needed one whole court. And I would do either conditioning on the court, or I would do a full-blown workout. And then I would go to shoot away at night. I think you remember seeing me a couple of times there. Shotgun or
Shot Zone.
Shot Zone.
Yep.
And I bought a membership to Shot Zone, and I would then go there every night and just do off the dribble pull-ups. So I looked at it as I'm learning 4 workouts a day as a senior in high school, and still I graduated with 4.0. I guess the other thing too, it's it's cool to be both. It's not cool to be one or the other. It's cool to say I can get into Harvard and play there if I want to. It's pretty cool to be able to say that I qualify in every which way, shape, and form for your school. So you can't give a reason to say no. That's the other thing too. I wanted to make sure schools could never say no to me. I have the best grades, pretty good at this thing called basketball, and I've never gotten kicked out of one school. I don't fail drug tests. I don't do anything wrong. I don't drink and drive. I'm clean. So I was very serious about keeping my ducks in a row. So when the opportunity does present itself, I'm ready for it. And that's kind of how I always looked at the recruitment process in a way, because it was tough. It's emotional. You get emotional for sure.
Yeah. So going on to Charlotte, you're either a freshman and sophomore years? Right?
Freshman. I redshirted my freshman year.
Redshirted freshman year. What was that experience like? I think there was something kind of monumental that happened in that didn't necessarily have to do with the school itself, with just your training and all that. And so just talk about your experience in Charlotte and
Totally. It was, Coach Price is amazing. When he was there, he ran it as if it was an NBA program. So we have individuals in the morning, weights after, and then practice, after class and lunch or stuff. And then he would tell you, why are you not coming back at night, to guys and shoot? So that was something I started to notice, was college is a little bigger, a little faster. At the level I was playing at in prep school, and certain guys in California, they're just bigger, faster, stronger. some of them not as good at basketball skill-wise, but they're grown men. And that's why I was like, okay, I have to navigate at a young age. I'm only 18, 19. How do I score on these grown men? Because I can't, like a Calabasas, sometimes I could back down, get a little fade.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that against a 6'8", shooting guard who, has been in college for 3 years and has over 1,000 points under his belt and has, knows the whole scheme of college. So I had to figure that out. But it was frustrating my first year there. I broke my hand my third practice in. Went up for a layup, broke my hand on the rim with this big dude that we had. So I was out for like 3 months or whatever it was, and I decided to redshirt. And that year it was kind of cool. I got to sit back and learn college. Like you get to learn my parents let me run around when I was younger, but I never was crazy. They never had to worry about, is Ryan going to be home by 11? I'm probably outside by 10:30 on shooting around, or
right.
like walking in at 10 after dinner with my friend. Like not doing anything bad or that would hurt my career in basketball. So you got to see how certain people acted. That was something too I got to see as a redshirt. Like, okay, who do I want to hang out with? Who do I not want to hang out with? Outside of basketball, just to keep myself on the straight path and straight line. And I got to learn the offense, which was really good. I think if you're going to redshirt, you use it for a year to really focus on yourself too. Yeah. Like scout team, I was a scout team assassin. I would be like, they were playing Florida when they had Casey Hill and Chris Walker. I was Casey Hill during scout team. So I got to put on many different looks, and you get to work on different stuff. And I took the redshirt year very seriously, and then my sophomore year is when things I was healthy and things started to slowly cook in a way where I was putting up double digits in points, assists, and things like that. Lamar Price got fired my sophomore year, which was nuts. That was crazy. So, that was a nut time.
Is that when you started training with Accelerate as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I see where you're tying this in here. Yeah. So, I. How do I describe? I was playing Old Dominion, and I think I had 35, some crazy number. I could be wrong, maybe 25 to 35, somewhere in that category as a freshman at Charlotte.
Felt like 30, whatever it was.
Whatever it was, it might be knowing me, it's probably literally 29 points or 28 right before 30 is my dad's joke. He's like, you either get 28 or you get 30 plus. It's never 30.
Right.
So probably in there, just shooting the crap out of the ball, playing really well, and I had a walk on our team that he should have never done this, and I say it till this day. He jumped under the rim when I had my shoes untied, and when he landed, he was 6'8", 200 plus pounds, obviously, landed on my foot after a shoot around, and I was like, ooh, that didn't feel good. I'm just like, oh, whatever. Walking into the locker room, take my shoe off, and it's like that episode of That's So Raven when she gets allergic reaction is how I'm going to describe it. My foot was no joke this big, and I was like, uh-oh, and my trainer's almost crying for me. He's like, dude, your foot's broken. And the night before, we're playing Middle Tennessee State, and that's when Middle Tennessee State was Middle Tennessee State. You saw them, if you're a big school and you're like, uh-oh. They had 3 guys from that team play in the EuroLeague too, and they were actually at our apartment the night before because we were all friends. We just were friendly. We knew each other. We've played against each other. Still going to try to kill you on the court, but we can hang out. And the night before, I'm sitting outside our loading center, hysterical crying, just drenched in tears. My foot's broken again, got to go get a pin this time and do the whole thing. And they walked past us, and their coach was just pulled me aside and was like, dude, we scouted for you for an hour and a half. We don't know what we were doing because we play a 1-3-1, but I was like, hey, and I was just heartbroken. And then 2 weeks later, a month later, Coach Bryce got fired. I think it was something like that in the time frame, which was really tough for me because the only reason I wanted to be there was Coach Bryce. And then I get a phone call from Brandon Payne, and he is incredible. He's Steph Curry's trainer. If people don't know that, he is the owner of Accelerate, I believe, still to this day, and he is as real as it gets in terms of basketball and his knowledge of the game, and very similar to you. He knows basketball, he knows the game really well, and he knows how to train people the right way and correlate it to the game. So I got the opportunity to have Brandon Payne help me with my physical therapy, which was amazing. He helps with Steph, obviously, his injuries that Steph's had with his feet, which was something to me that was very telling. Yeah. And luckily, Brandon came to watch me play when I played my butt off. So Brandon was like, hey man, I love your game. And my growth during the time I broke my foot to JUCO was incredible. And that's a huge shout out to Stephen Curry and Brandon Payne and Brandon Thomas and Ramondo. Of that crew of Accelerate guys that are still together working with Steph. And this is over now 10 years, I think, of Steph's crew, Brandon and Steph, and they welcomed me like family. And it was probably the best experience. Was in a weird way breaking my foot. Like I know it's like double-edged sword here, but if I don't break my foot, I don't get Brandon Payne. I don't get the training and understanding under in my opinion, the best point guard of all time is who I got to be with almost every day in the summer and understand and learn the game from, and even life lessons. Like when you're with someone all that time, you actually genuinely build a real bond. And he was guiding me through decisions as well and teaching me the game. I actually sent the leader of my brokerage a video yesterday I found on my phone of me throwing a no-look pass to Steph, and Steph hit like a step-back three from pickup like 3 years ago. That was so cool. It just came up on my like memories out of nowhere, and obviously the Olympics were going on, so I sent it to him. He was like, "Oh my God, no way!"
So Steph Curry's workouts are sort of this secret thing, right? So you've been a part of them. So what are you able to share about them that can give us normal people insight on the extraordinary training practices of he's one of the GOATs to me, man.
Yeah, he's on my Mount Rushmore, for sure.
One of those GOATs. So
he is the king of conditioning. Steph Curry is, and I'm not saying just like do a 17. Yeah. I'm talking about got a minute 30 on the clock, and for a minute and 30 seconds, I'm going against the best shooter ever to exist, in my opinion. And we're both gonna go and do full court shooting. And we're talking corner to corner on an NBA court for a minute and 30 seconds. And he's talking to you. Like he'll hit 3 in a row and go, "Where are you at?" And he'll point at the scoreboard while he's in a full-blown sprint. And you get to see the Steph Curry take a shot, turn around, and run. But people see that as like, oh, he's being flashy. No, Steph is in a drill in his mind where he's shooting a shot, and he's like, I'm only going to get X amount of shots in this time frame. If I miss one, he could lose, because there was a drill. I beat Steph in, and I have the picture on my phone still to this day. I beat him in one drill, and he was pissed. And it was like, he's the best shooter in the world. Like he was sitting there like, all right, I didn't win a drill the next probably like 2 months. Any drill, could have been any drill, but he is also so dialed in. And Brandon as well. There is goofing around, like we smile and laugh, but it's when it's time to work, it's time to work. And that was something, again, taking it as a professional. If workouts started we would like to usually start around 8:39, because Steph has a family, he's already established, he's got to do his father duties. The dude's there at 8:45, the latest, if we're starting at 9:15, 9:30. And we're going through a whole warm up. And I will give the secret. Steph has a system, and I got to wear it, that we put on before we play, and it's a red dot, and you have to find the dot with your eyes. Your eyes are going nuts. How my eyes are just like that, right? So, and it was with basketballs, and it just locks in on your focus. It like helps with laser focus. It's some weird training they give to like snipers or something. So I got to do that a couple of times, and I was like, whoa. That's a secret I'll give out. I don't know if he still does it or use it, but I do remember us doing it. And there's just the greatness aura around him. When you're around him, you feel it. Like he's funny, yes, and he goofs around, he goes like this, but he's busting your butt. Like he's beating you in every way. He's gonna be in better shape. He's also strong. There's like a misconception he's not strong. Right. He's a freak of nature in the weight room, and he takes it his weight room regimen, he takes, I think, more seriously than basketball, honestly, because that's what keeps you going after a certain age. But 2-ball dribbling, tons of it. 2-ball shooting, where you dribble one, you shoot the other. We do a lot of tennis.
Sorry, what?
Dribble one ball, like
that's like part of your warm-up?
Yeah, and you shoot the second one. So I'll be dribbling a ball with my left hand the whole time, and that one's out there. That's why I'm using this one, because I saw it on Peacock. They like kind of sent that out there. I was like, so he'll dribble one ball. He can do it full. We eventually got to a point. I'm not as great as him, obviously, whatsoever. Like just to put that out there. Yes. I think it's obvious, but I got to a point where I could dribble with my right hand and shoot with my left. Right. He's doing that from the 3-point line almost with his left hand. I'm not making this up, and I've seen it. And he'll get mad when he misses, and I'm at the free throw line struggling, and I'm like, I'm shooting like a floater, and he's like, no, shoot like a real shot, flick your wrist. I'm like, okay, so it's the best player in my opinion, like top 5 all time. I'm gonna listen to him, and you slowly start to see it throughout his game. The moves he works on with Brandon come to life. So like the little behind wrap that you see him do at least twice a game. We warm up with that with like a 4-pound heavy ball, just kind of like loosey-goosey warming up. But then when we start to get into it and you start to see the sweat, now that wrap is becoming hand on butt, slapping that ball's right here, and it's already up. And you start to see like the progression of everything. And Brandon's workouts were all progression stuff. Like we start with the 2-ball, Then we go to one ball off the wall, tennis ball, which you can find like on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's cool videos
Those are
like
the ones you see early on.
there's actually a video of Jalen Green that's really cool doing it. There's a video of Luka Doncic doing it, which is really cool. Those are out there, and it's just building hand-eye coordination. Like in Steph's mind, this tennis ball, yeah, it's stupid. Sure, we're throwing a tennis ball, but I'm throwing the ball here to here. I got Kevin Durant cutting. That ball has to be out my hand in 0.3 seconds to get to KD for a dunk, or Clay for a while. Clay just needs 1 second to go like this and shoot the ball. So that one switch, you're like, oh, you're taking it easy, but you're not correlating it to a game, and that was something with him. Everything's correlated to a game. Yeah. Like this Vertimax jump, I'm not doing for my health. I'm doing it because I need to get this rebound, and it might be game 6 in the finals, and I'm dying. So we did stuff like that, 2-ball dribbling a ton, tennis ball off the wall, tennis ball catching, just working on your eyes, moving. That's why I don't like certain things that get implemented into workouts where I'm like, this isn't real. Yeah. And just the amount of shooting and repetitions and attention to detail. We were doing drills with both of us where we didn't count makes, only swishes. So we were, and basic stuff too. Like people think he only does like this extravagant stuff. One of the drills I just said was just running to corner and shooting. Right. It's not a crazy drill, but he's getting like, I don't remember the number, probably like 15 to 20 makes. You got 1 minute and 30 seconds. How many of those can you do? And also, how great a shape are you in to keep sprinting? And you're going against someone who can shoot the ball very well. And we did that corner, wing, top, corner, wing. We do free throw competitions after every drill. You have to go 8 out of 10. And I mean 8 swishes out of 10 makes, not like just 8 out of 10. Steph could do that blindfolded. Swishes. And
everything is a swish. It
has to be a swish. And there were workouts where Brandon would be like, all right, all swishes today. And the workout was genuinely all swishes. Like it was really cool. And I have a video on my phone too of him going 89 out of 100 after like a 2.5-hour brutal workout. Like Brandon would tell us, hey, like yesterday was a light day. Today is like going to be really tough, because something Brandon taught me was when you're coming back from an injury, or you're coming, Steph as well. Honestly, Steph more so, Brandon taught me this in a way, and we talked about it. Coming back from a serious injury or a surgery, you're going to feel great one day, and you're going to work out and go hard, and you're going to love it. You'll be jumping, but the next day, how do you feel the next day? Yeah. That's really important. So that was something I learned like day to day on how he treats himself. I mean, his same thing with LeBron, and a way of how they carry their recovery is, I don't know why younger kids don't foam roll after or before.
I don't know why NBA players don't take on. I've literally been in the gym with LeBron, and these young guys come in and see LeBron there already doing all his recovery.
Full blown sweat, right? Too.
It's a 45-minute warm up, and his post workout is probably an hour. I'm like, you guys are looking at, well, the GOAT.
Arguably the greatest player of all time.
The GOAT, right? And you're not copying him? Like, why aren't you doing exactly what he's doing?
Crazy, right?
These are NBA players.
Crazy, right? Like, genuinely crazy. Like,
I don't get it.
Imagine being in a gym with the best player of all time, or people of that caliber, and you're serious about the game, or you say you're serious about it, but I'm a nerd. I was writing down this stuff. I would go back and write down, like, okay, today, like, we did 2-ball off-the-wall tennis ball drill. And I'd call Brandon and be like, hey, I'm writing down this workout to take with me to JUCO. What did we do today? Brandon, we did this. You did this. These were your numbers. These were your stats. These are your times. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, cool. Thanks. Gavin actually has the sheet of paper, the same sheet of paper I have till this day. It looks like it's gone through the washer like 20 times, but that same sheet of paper.
I should make it digital.
I told him we should just make a photocopy.
But
it's Gavin. Yeah. Don't get me started with Q, man. Don't get me started with Q. It's my little brother. But he has it with him at JUCO, and it's awesome to see him now doing that. And I told him, like, my biggest growth was because of Brandon and Steph. Obviously, you have to put the work in. Like, I worked my ass off, my butt off, and I take pride in that. And that's something, but you see through Steph. Like, there's a video of him and the shooter Bazemore doing actually one of the sprinting drills. Yeah. And if you watch Steph versus Bazemore, look at the. I know exactly Bazemore shoots the ball. Steph's already at the other end, beating him, and then he's on his way back. It was just a principle he set. If you want to be this, if you want to also not be that tall, Steph's not that tall. Right. Steph is very athletic, but he's not, in terms of NBA, a freak athlete. He's not that lanky to us, yeah, sure, but like NBA, no. So he has that, like, I felt everything stacked against you in a way. Yeah. What are you going to do to make it work? How are you going to find your niche? How are you going to find that thing that you have that people have to respect in the game, where they're like, oh shoot, if he's open, it's over. Like, if Steph's open, you almost assume it's good. You're just like, oh, okay, you might almost change the channel. You're like, all right, I'll come back when they play defense, right? So That's the mindset I developed from him and just the training. 2-ball, he's a tennis ball king. I've seen this dude off the wall dribble in his right hand, have 2 tennis balls in his hand, and throw them continuously off the wall like this to himself, while full-blown dribbling the ball in his right hand and talking to you. Like, it was one of the coolest things. He was like, yeah, I got like 50 more, and then we can switch. Like, whoa. There's videos of me at Calabasas doing all the tennis ball stuff, and people like saying like, oh, this is like, on Twitter, when I used to use my Twitter, people used to be like, oh, like this is dumb. And then I wouldn't respond. I would just add in like Steph, like the video of me and Steph doing it, and then people would be like, oh, this is brilliant. Okay. So, but like, he was big on contrast too, like heavy ball, layups, heavy ball, just, and not abusing it. Like some people abuse the heavy ball in certain things. It was all like relatively, it just made sense. Okay, we're gonna shoot a heavy ball right in front of the rim. Here's a game ball. Now we're gonna warm up with the game ball. Heavy ball on one side, game ball on the other, and then you're like, wait, I'm shooting from almost 32 feet. Like it's nothing. Why? Oh, because I'm in the gym every day. Oh, because I'm using the heavy ball.
Right. Use it for a purpose.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everything Steph, it's a great way to put it, honestly. Everything he did in his workouts was for a purpose. Or because Brandon would sit there and watch the film and go, hey, this year you took, I remember Brandon, we were at dinner or lunch, and Brandon said to him, hey, Steph, last year you didn't do enough like turn around, like get into somebody back down and use the glass. He's like, we worked on it this summer, you didn't use it much. Should we take it out of our workouts? How do you feel about it? Do you use it a lot? I watched all your games. I only saw like 2. Yeah, whatever. So that now turns into like, that was Steph. He was just like, he's like, okay. And that turns into Brandon now thinking like, okay, boom, like, but this year you came off and you hit 1,000 behind the back threes. We're gonna do more behind the back, step back, hezzy, moves like into something. And if you notice, Steph behind is pretty scary. Oh, that behind the back is very terrifying. But that
we just saw it at the Olympics, right?
Yeah, exactly. And a drill though, I will give you this one. This was a really cool drill. Steph would go around the 3-point line and dribble behind his back and step when the ball would hit like certain sides. So he would step to the right. Yeah, so if the ball's in my left hand, I go behind my back, we're stepping right, left into the shot. And if the ball's behind my back this way, we're going left, right. So if you notice, his feet are always, like if you notice, he'll go.
Toe tapping.
Yep. And I never had that in high school.
Yeah. Him and KD. KD does that too.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. KD's balance is great. KD and Steph, their balance is incredible. And obviously they're incredible basketball players and the way they move and shoot. But seeing someone who's smaller, like around my size, and just the spacing, it was something we touched on too, was teaching me how to create. I don't need to create a ton of space. Just need a little bit of space. And that's something, I got the best of both worlds too. I got to be with Steph for almost the entire summer. And then I come home and I'm with one of my best friends and closest family friends, Drew Holiday. So I get to go from being with in my opinion, the best shooter, one of the best point guards to, I don't care what anybody says, he's the best defender in the NBA. I will take him over anybody. Right. Every year for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't care if you're 7 feet tall, I'm taking Drew. Yes. And I got to use some of that stuff on Drew. So now I'm going from playing, like working out with Steph and playing pickup against like St. Mary's to now Drew Holiday, Julius Randle, Anthony Davis, Cassius Stanley, who's a freak athlete, De'Ron Fox. Like those were our pickup run. Alfred Payton, Aaron Holiday. That's pickup. So now I got the best of both worlds. I was there, came home, and 3 weeks before JUCO, I'm there every day working out. So I got to try what I was learning in the Bay against the best players in the world. And Drew was, of course, kicking my butt, as he always does. There's videos out there actually recently.
I remember those
There's
videos.
a lot of videos circulating the internet of him and blocking me, me not scoring on him. Those are out there right now because he won the championship and now the Olympics, they're glorified again. I really should tell him, like, you could have let me score one time so I look good on Twitter, but he also was a big part of that. I was with him a lot as well towards the end of the summer at his house almost every day, training with Drew and Lauren.
What a summer.
Yeah, it was a basketball summer.
That is a basketball dream summer, man.
Yeah, and all from basketball. That's why I think it's such the best, like such a cool sport is none of this would have ever been real or possible or even sitting in a room with you without basketball, So I know also one thing I will say that I think is really important is you never let basketball use you. You use basketball. However you can figure that out is something I think I figured out in my professional career now. Yeah. And I wish I figured that out when I was younger. Because I totally let basketball use me instead of the other way around of me using basketball in a way, I'm not even saying from a money standpoint, right? Just learning how to use the game to open up doors for you that you would have never been able to open. And one of those is obviously a blessing from Brandon watching me play in North Carolina. That's just right place, right timing. But same thing I touched on is the opportunity met the perfect timing, and I was doing the right thing. The night before that game, I had whatever on Old Dominion. I remember that night, I went to the gym, I made 250 shots, made 50 free throws, and I did 30 minutes of ball handling, jumped in the ice bath, took a shower, went home and hung out with my dog all night and watched film on them all night. If I was out the night before partying, smoking, drinking, you think I would have played that? I probably would have died on the court. I don't know how I would have felt. I don't do that in play. So I think the same thing comes back to is the professional approach every time. Yeah. And I've had the same pregame routine. I think it's weird, like, now I don't really stretch when I go play because it's adult league. I'm like, okay, I'll be okay.
Better be careful.
I still foam roll.
All right.
I do like a light dynamic warm up.
I'm hurting right now.
I kind of let the game come to me a little bit.
Stretch. I didn't foam roll after.
That's why.
And because we lost the championship game in Shepherd with last night, 2 nights ago.
2 nights.
Yeah, and no, what's today? Wednesday? Mm-hmm. Oh man, that was last night. I haven't got much sleep, guys. And man, my body, I couldn't sleep because my body was aching because after the game we lost and somebody did something to cause us to lose. And so we were just sitting there talking about that. Yeah, it is what it is.
Totally happens.
And yeah, man, that foam rolling after is key.
Yeah.
Especially at my age of 30 plus.
Yeah. Still young. But
Karina, you good with 30 plus? Karina gave me a look, guys.
You're so close to 40.
Oh, nice. What's happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game, brought to you by our sponsor, Brand Scene. Shout out to my guy, Max Hazard. If you guys didn't know, sorry, I was hooping. He has the hats, he has the shirts, he has the shorts. Go out, make sure you guys support. And we're back. Thank you for a word from our sponsors, Brand Scene. Karina's gonna add it in. She hates when I do
That's
that.
awesome.
No, yeah.
That's cool.
My guy, Max. All right, man. Awesome, man. I know you're going for days with Steph Curry stories, I'm sure, man. And we'll save it for maybe another episode of the podcast.
Sure.
Charlotte, so Coach Price leaves. You have a broken foot, but then you have an amazing summer, and you're on your way to junior college. What made you choose junior? Oh, I guess it's before you can transfer and play. So you want an opportunity to play right away?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I redshirt my first year, played the second. So technically you're a sophomore in the classroom, but a freshman, obviously eligibility-wise. But there was no NIL, there was no call your friend and I'm coming to hang out with you, let's just transfer right away. And I did have a lot of schools that were saying, we'll scholarship you 100%, but you got to sit. Right. And that means, hey, I'm a sophomore not playing? And that was kind of same thing. Now it's a recruiting process all over again. And now I'm like, all right, cool. I know exactly what I want. I know what I need. I know where I need to go. And there was a guy named, he's on Twitter. His name's JUCO Advocate on Twitter. His real name is Brandon. I don't know how we met. I don't know how we got connected, but he is the greatest, just genuine human being for basketball. Like in terms of just relationships, and he's a really good guy and cares about so many kids. Like it's incredible. And him and I jumped on a call. He was like, look, he also owns secretly Verbal Commits as well.
No, they've. I think
he's in there.
It's live
and you can leave that in there. Brandon. I'm throwing you under the bus, B. No, I'm just kidding. But he's great, and I just got connected to him too through leaving, and he reached out to me and was like, "Would you ever go to junior college?" I was like, "I'm not gonna say no. I hear college, and I see a chance to play basketball, and that's the other thing too is like kids are like, I'm not going to junior college." Dude, do you know Jimmy Butler went to junior college? Do you know Mike James is? Mike James went to junior college.
Right.
Crowder, I believe, went to junior college. There are some amazing basketball players that went to junior college. I think Ben Wallace or Rasheed Wallace also went to junior college. Like, I think people have a negative connotation because it's not, oh, I'm D1 or oh, I'm not, at this big time school. And it's like, yeah, but you might not last a week at JUCO.
But man, junior college is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Our hell week is hell.
Mm-hmm. And there's also a different level of respect, I will say, when guys say to a coach or they're watching them play, oh, I went to junior college. There's a different level of grit, hunger, and determination because junior college is a different beast. It is a different, you're not on planes, there's no D1, you're in a small school bus driving 13 hours to go play a school in Idaho, and I'm in New Mexico. I went to New Mexico Junior College, which at the time was coached by Luke Adams, Tyler Hurley, and Zach Foster.
Historically, a national level junior college.
Extremely good. We've had great players coming in and out of there. What I'm blanking out on his name, but he played there as well. Oklahoma City Thunder, light-skinned dude, kind of has a little fro in the back, taller. He comes off the bench for them. He went there as well.
Gotcha. Can't think of his name.
Me either, but he went there as well. And the big man from Toronto, Chris Boucher.
Yeah.
He went there as well. So our junior college is very well established. But you're in Hobbs, New Mexico. If you don't know it, Google it. There's just our JUCO and then one airport. And there's only one flight a day.
Where's that flight go to?
Texas. Goes to Houston. Goes straight to Houston, so you actually go somewhere, in case you need to go home. And my team was amazing. I coached Zach Boster. Was a Drew Hanlon guy, so he actually left.
He was the coach there?
One of our coaches, yeah. He was on the staff, yeah.
Oh, I know that.
So Coach Boster was there. Tyler Hurley, who's kind of like a JUCO guy, was there. And Luke Adams was there. He's now an assistant. I don't remember what school in Texas, but he's a D1 assistant. His father was the head coach at Texas Tech, Luke Adams as well. Yeah. So I played there, and JUCO taught me exactly what I wanted in terms of my next steps in basketball. Junior college will make you a man. If you think you're tough, go to a national junior college, and we'll see how tough you really are in terms of just life. My room was, we nicknamed it the prison, because there was a huge black gate that surrounds, you can Google this on Google Maps, there's a huge black gate that surrounds my JUCO. And to leave, we had to let our coach know we're off campus. Where are you going, what time? It's not the best situation. The movie theater we were at was closed every week. Someone got shot and killed every week there. It was just, Breaking Bad is actually the best example I can give you in terms of scenery of where I was, right? Like Lubbock was our downtown, which was an hour and a half away, which is Lubbock, Texas, where Texas Tech was. So that was a interesting time, but we were some dogs, honestly. We were really good. We were tough, we were competitive, and we were all gym rats, which was cool. I had a lot of gym rats around me, a lot of guys who transferred from D1. I had Rakim Felder, who was the starting point guard when they beat Duke in the Elite Eight. I had Darnell Rogers, the 5'2" sensation that everyone knows. 5'2". Played at UMBC as their starting point guard his last 2 years of his career. Mm-hmm. Wow. That was my roommate. So if I open my door, I have Rakim and Darnell. A kid named Gideon was on my team who played at BYU. Had a great career for 2 years. He's playing pro in Europe now. Had two twins from Houston. I believe one of them went to Corpus Christi and another one might have went to University of Idaho. So we had a great group of guys in terms of basketball. And it was a competitive, tough grit every day. Like we're talking every day. You just don't know what your reality is because you're at a junior college. These college coaches might want the high school kid. They might want you. You might have a bad rep now because of your old coach because now you're at a JUCO. So those were interesting times, but I made the most out of the situation. I'm extremely grateful for going there. I mean, without that summer, without that year, to really, also I grew into becoming a real scorer at JUCO. Like I had 56 one game at JUCO. Yeah. And that's when I really was like learning how to become a real combo guard because before I was just more so, honestly, a catch and shoot guy. I was someone who was going to shoot the ball, and if you gave me a couple dribbles, I'd bully you to the rim or be athletic enough to score. But now I was taking all the things I learned from Steph that entire, I would say, summer and a half, just because I wasn't really at Charlotte anymore. I wasn't going to practice and workouts and those things. So, and I took that, and I took Drew beating up on me in the summer and previous summers as well, and that group, and Ray McCollum as well, and those guys, and I took that into JUCO. So now I have all of this experience in such a short amount of time, and I'm taking it to guys now, and now I have a different mindset too. That was the thing. My mindset coming in here was, oh, I'm good enough to play in the Pac-12. If I average 10 a game at Charlotte, you're telling me I'm not good enough to play in the Pac-12? I only got one Pac-12 offer, but that was my mindset. Oh, I'm not good enough to get a call from UCLA. They never called me, but that was my mindset. I'm at JUCO now, and my first week there, I went to the JUCO Jamboree that Brandon Global hosts. JUCO Advocate, and I think I averaged 35 the whole weekend, and we didn't lose one game, and our games were showtime, like old Lakers showtime. Rakim coming down, no look lob to a 6'9" twin dunking it, picking you up full court. I come down between, hit a three. Like it was so exciting, and I felt that love again. Because at the end of Charlotte too, I didn't really love it anymore. I'm injured, I'm frustrated. New coaches coming in, all new staff. We're losing. Anyone you've built a relationship with is now gone. It's a weird feeling. especially when you have no control at all. Like it's not like in the NBA, you can kind of you do have a little control if you're that guy or one of the main guys. So you're just sitting there meeting all these new people, new faces, and eventually you're just like, I'm not comfortable. And that was me at Charlotte. And my JUCO, I did get comfortable. Loved the guys there. It was great. Won a lot of games, but I also fractured my foot at JUCO at the end of the year, which was really frustrating. But I finished like a JUCO All-American, first team, all that stuff. So it was really cool. It was a life-changing experience, and I recommend a lot of people, if you are not sure, if you're not picked up right now, go junior college. My little brother's at junior college right now.
If you're good enough, go to junior college. If you think you're a Division I player, go to junior college. They'll find you.
They will 100% find you, and they will figure it out, and they'll do whatever they can. I mean, the fact that Mike James went to junior college and only played at Lamar, like, come on. He's the best player to ever play in the EuroLeague. He averages the most points, everything, and he should be in the NBA. But I mean, you have so much raw talent and just guys who genuinely are good enough to play D1, but might not have the grades either. That's the other thing. I know a lot of guys might not, like, don't have people like you or core or a structure that's like, hey, no, you need these credits. Like, you don't have a certain male or woman figure to a coach or even a counselor that can advise the kid to take the right classes. And I saw two of my teammates had that, and I'm just sitting there like, damn, like, that's really messed up. You're good enough to play D1, but because of the curriculum you were in, it didn't qualify you.
Yep.
So now you have to go junior college. So I think people have the wrong conception of junior college. I am a white kid from Calabasas who went to one of the toughest JUCOs in all of America.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it. If you love this sport and you want to be noticed.
There's people who like only have offers from a D3 or NAIA. Like, I thought you loved basketball. Go play. And that's how good you are. If you're that good, play your way out of it.
Yeah.
Just go play your way
That's how I felt when I was at Charlotte. I was like, man, I'm better than the American League. I was like, man, and I feel like I can do better at a different opportunity. And transferring is different now. Transferring was like a big deal back then, in my opinion. Like, people would say, wow, you transfer a lot. Yeah, because if you looked at where I was going like this. When I started getting better, I'm like, oh, I gotta get out of here. And the conversation with my mom and dad about junior college was really interesting because neither of them knew a damn thing about JUCO basketball. They thought I was making like the craziest decision. Fun fact, sorry, Dad. He pulled me aside and he was like, "You sure you don't just want to like walk on at Pepperdine?" He said, I was like, "Dude, I can't talk to my dad like that." But in my head, I'm like, "Dude, what?" I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you really disrespecting me? Like, me?" I'm like, "You know who you're talking to?" And I sat there, I said, no, I'm gonna go through with this. I said, worst comes to worst, I'll figure it out. He said, all right, good luck. He said, I'm not coming to a game unless you have 40. I said, all right, cool. My dad didn't come to one game at JUCO, and then I had like 45, 56, and like 38, and I just sent him a screenshot. He goes, I have Twitter, it works, LOL. And
Murph.
yeah, that's my dad. That's my dad. And he did call me though, and he was like, I'm very impressed. Like, I'm gonna come watch you play. And then he sent me the flight schedule to try to come to Hobbs, New Mexico, and he was like, I'm not taking 4 flights. He was like, it's only an hour direct. I'm like, yeah, good luck. There's no Southwest, there's no American, no Delta. There's none of that. It's just like Hobbs, whatever Hobbs. I think he's got his own website, seriously. But JUCO shaped me into like going and play at Pitt. You better be ready for the ACC. Yeah. So I think JUCO really prepared me to play in the ACC. And our practices were ran like a legit college practice. Luke Adams did a great job of implementing the Texas Tech defense, the Coach Beard, style defense, which is baseline. And you better not give up middle or I'm going to embarrass you in front of the whole team. And I became good at defense actually there too because I hated defense. I was like, defense is stupid. Go ahead. You score 2, I'm going to score 3. Eventually I'll win. So I hated defense, and he taught me how to love defense there. And that was something I needed for my game in order for higher level programs to take me more seriously. How can I take you seriously if you don't know how to read a ball screen or at least help and stunt and get back and those things? So Coach Adams taught me a lot about defense at JUCO too. And we had the gym all day. I mean, there's nothing to do. That's why I don't get when guys are like, oh man, I'm not going JUCO. Why? You don't want to go to a national JUCO that averages 100 college coaches the first couple months of the year in the gym? Yeah. You have a weight room, a track.
And it's all yours. All yours.
That's how I looked at it when people like Gavin's at a JUCO now in Florida, and his situation in terms of like surroundings is way better. They have a movie theater, they have a Nike store, they have like stuff there. He was like, what'd your JUCO have? I said, our downtown was a Walmart. That was
Walmart be popping on Sundays though.
True, they have specials.
So I went to Dodge City Community College in the middle of Kansas. Very, very, very similar.
You know it then.
Yeah.
We played a lot of, there was like one of those prime prep schools in Kansas that we played, or junior college?
Sunrise or you need it?
Sunrise.
Oh, you probably played
Sunrise. Oh man,
So I went there in high school. Yeah.
So you know it then.
Yeah.
You know that there's like a prep school or a JUCO team that they have or something.
Yeah, they have a prep team.
Yeah, I mean,
prep team. They
great.
play all the junior colleges.
Top. That's amazing. Like I think that's so smart. Like the amount of college coaches that want junior college guys too is very high.
Yeah.
Or older. Well, it used to be older, bigger, stronger.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 been through the college scheme dynamic. So I love JUCO. It made me really tough. But no, my dad was not the biggest fan of me going there. And now what's funny is Gavin's at JUCO. So I said the other day to him, I was like, interesting how the domino effect here, huh? But JUCO changed my life. I mean, it got me. At one point, I can legitimately say, in terms of the scholarship, like college coaches, I was overwhelmed with the amount of schools calling me every day and contacting me. And I mean, I was already a qualifier. Didn't even have to take a class at junior college because I was so overqualified at Charlotte. I was in the business school as a sophomore. So I already have accounting 1 and 2. I have economics 1 and 2. I have everything so I was in like science,
art.
Yeah, science and art and stuff but I looked at that as like, this is a great opportunity for me to really focus on rehab and just gym. So my day was art class, science, straight to the gym. I didn't know what was going on outside of the world for a good year when I was at that junior college. I couldn't tell you what was going on. All I knew was we play them tomorrow. I got class at this time. My brothers and mom and dad's good. My dog's okay. And I got to work out at 6. If you asked me anything else, I would tell you I don't know. That was how determined and focused I was that I couldn't pay any attention to it. Because now I felt like I'm betting on myself, really. And it turned out to be the biggest blessing ever. I mean, I legitimately had 48 Division I scholarships. I could have picked up any coach and just said, hey, I'm coming. They would have been like, we'll sign tomorrow.
That's great.
Yeah, but no love from Cali. I don't know how that makes sense.
We're getting better.
We're getting better, but
we've gotten a lot better in the last 3 to 4 years.
Stupidity.
Of the local, especially in Southern California, the local schools in Southern California offering our Southern California kids, even UCLA and USC are full of California kids now. So
finally
they figured it out.
They learned because
they figured it out.
If Pepperdine would have called me, oh man, I would have signed in 2 seconds.
Right.
I lived 20 minutes away. It's Malibu. It's Nike school. Pepperdine campus is beautiful. It's
court, you can go play on that court right now.
Oh man,
nobody's there. They let you just walk right in.
But you hit it best. Nobody's in the gym. And the response back is, it's Malibu. And I said, yeah, it gets cold. I'm going to be in this gym. And then I'm going to the beach. But man, like, that was frustrating, honestly, if you want the truth. Like, I remember I had Washington State. I had Texas Tech, USF, South Florida, Pittsburgh, obviously. People don't know this, but North Carolina, I was very close to going to. Same with NC State. Tennessee was extremely interested at points. Like, we're talking huge programs. And I was begging for, like, San Diego to just pick up the phone and call me. Or San Diego State, or I had Santa Clara. I'm leaving them out. I had Santa Clara, but I wasn't going to.
That's not Southern California.
Yeah, thank you.
Southern California and Northern California are 2 different states.
Thank you. That's how I feel about that. That's Bay Area to me. So I was like, the Bay likes me, but I'm like, I can't even, like, cool. I literally was telling my dad, I'm like, if I get Syracuse, UCLA, I don't care. I'm going and I'm going to make it work. Well, the old coach UCLA actually bought my dad's house, Alford, and I didn't get one text or phone call. And then the new coach came, and I didn't get a text or phone call. And then the other coach I had from Charlotte joined their staff. I didn't get one phone call. I was like, dude, but you want to meet me for a cup of coffee and see how life's going? I'm like, I'm averaging 30. Can I get a call?
I'm averaging 30.
I'm like, you got Jaime Jaquez, who I've known for a long time. This could work. I'm like, this could work. He's good. I'm good. I know Cody. I'm like, there's chemistry here. But no, and that was what frustrated me at the end. I was like, man, no LA schools. So I went back to the East Coast kind of as like a middle finger to the West Coast is how I felt so disrespected by Southern California that, like, I won't say who, but there's a certain dude that went to USC that I kicked his butt day in and day out, and they took him. And I was like, man, I could do that role at USC. And then they took another dude who I kicked his butt every day who's from SoCal, and he was at USC. I was just like, man, okay, I gotta go back to the East because clearly I'm not wanted in the West Coast is how I looked at it.
You know what it is?
But it was just my mindset of like being taking it on. Like,
you have an East Coast style of play though.
Yeah, for sure.
You do.
Yeah.
You really do, because I think that's for 2 years of prep school in high school, right?
Yeah.
Freshman, sophomore year, kind of established that.
Yeah.
You do have an East Coast game.
For sure. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about it. I'm like, that doesn't mean West Coast school shouldn't have went after you, because that's just ridiculous. Just the Kihei Clark,
But look at what league Kihei played in.
man.
Virginia, where'd I play?
Right.
ACC. We
Yeah,
played each other.
exactly.
Actually, my dad has a picture of me and Kihei together after we played each other. So I mean, like, Cassius Stanley, Duke. There's a certain pull though to the ACC, where if the ACC comes calling, you better really open that door, because it's not going to come calling again. So, but yeah, I was upset, and I looked at it as like taking it not on the chin, but more so like a chip on my shoulder when I went to Pitt. Like, man, like, because my teammate asked me, Justin Champagny, who's one of my best friends. He was my roommate at college, one of my best friends till this day. We talk almost every day. He's now on the Wizards. He even said, he's like, dude, why are you not at UCLA? He's like, I had UCLA. I was like, you're from the Bronx. What? How do you have UCLA? I know you're really good, but like, dude, I'm down the block. I'm on I gotta take the 405. You gotta take a flight, an Uber. I still go and run the UCLA Drake Stadium track and the stairs. I'm like, dude, I grew up doing that. Like, come on. And it was just funny, but in the grand scheme of things, Pitt, Jeff Capel, I mean, come on. His name says it all. If you guys don't know who Jeff Capel is, I'm butchering his resume. One of the best assistant college coaches of all time at Duke. Player, I don't know if he was All-American, but player and point guard with Grant Hill. 4-year starter at Duke, which is not really talked about or done a lot, which is impressive. Head coach Oklahoma and Coach Blake Griffin and his brother when Oklahoma was rocking. And he brought Pitt basketball back. I will say Pitt basketball right now is tough. You don't want to play us. We look good. We've got 2-3 pros coming out every other year now. Steven Adams obviously went there, but you got guys like Ryan Luther, who's playing overseas really successfully. Justin Champagny in the NBA. He was in the G League averaging 24 and 12. Like Trey McGowan's in the G League. You got, I mean, I used to count myself, but now I'm out of it. Count myself a little bit as a hooper, but I mean, you have some real pull. I know a kid got drafted this year out of Pitt. I don't remember his name. But he got drafted, I believe, in the late first round. And Blake Henson, I remember him just because he broke my three-point record at Pitt, and I think he wore 24-2 or 0, something like that. He's now actually on the G League Lakers. So I think it's cool that Pitt is starting to, Coach Capel and his staff are really starting to put together I think could really be a powerhouse, because there's not much going on in Pittsburgh either. But like, I like those situations where, like I said, in JUCO, I found myself really finding out what I wanted, and Pitt was what I wanted. There's not a lot going on. Yeah. You just got the Steelers, baseball, and hockey. You are the NBA. So in a way, you're the league to them. And that's how I started to really fall in love with Pitt. And Capel's tough too. I give Coach Dawkins the #1, but Capel is 2 or he might be tied. We had Hell Week, which is a thing they do at Duke as well. Everything was team-oriented, and the brotherhood mentality he carries with him, you can see in his coaching staff and his day-to-day life on how he treats his kids, how he treats the players, how he treats his other assistants. So I was really blessed and grateful, and we had some amazing times together and huge wins. I mean, huge. Like, we never beat North Carolina twice until I got there. And I got some cool pictures with Coach Roy after the game. So, even though I think I gave him like 15. But it was, Capel's a man. And he, big on skill development, big on really pushing yourself every day. And he, all around winner too, as a person. I mean, look everywhere he's gone. Duke basketball says enough. If you say I'm a part of Duke basketball or any way, shape, or form tied to the Duke brotherhood and you played there, you know, you're a professional at the end of the day. Yeah. So that was, without JUCO, none of that's possible though. Yeah. That's
sweet, man. And at Pitt, like you said, had some success there as a player, and we saw all the work that you put in, man. We were watching like, yo, Ryan is really doing it, and it's crazy to see, like, you knew you were good. We didn't know you were that good.
And I don't think I knew that either until I had that summer with, I say this in a loving way now, looking back on it. There's a coach who runs a really big thing, and I won't say his name, but he runs West Coast Elite, or used to run West Coast Elite, a guy with my name. Won't say his name.
We know who this is now.
I won't say who it is.
Anyways.
But I had a team, and my team at the Elite Camp was me, Josh Jackson, and my boy Billy. And a coach came up and wanted to offer all 3 of us. And the guy who ran the Elite Camp said, that kid's not a D1 player, but the other 2 are pros. And I heard him say it. and he texted me after we beat Florida State, and I think I had like 18 or 20, and he was like, I made a mistake.
Oh, that's nice of him.
Yeah.
At least he came back. All right, we can
Yeah.
say his name. Ryan,
Yeah.
at least
He
you
came back.
recognize it, man. We
Yeah.
appreciate
Or
you,
he
man.
said something along the lines of like amazing game. That text, when I got that text when I was at the ACC, I think I threw my phone against the locker. Like I was nuts. Like I really was a player. You know this. I was a little
Yes.
in the locker room and on the court. I'm crazy. Off the court, I'm the coolest dude. We can hang out. We can go to the beach all day. I don't care. But I threw my phone, and Justin was with me. He goes, "Why you threw your phone?" I was like, "I lost a piece of my chip." I was like, "That chip got me so far," because he told me that as an 8th grader, or like 9th grade. He had those crazy elite camps,
Yeah.
and I saw like all his kids and his elite team getting offers. Like I remember I saw Johnny Juzin get offered from UCSB, and I was like, "Man, I'll go to Santa Barbara." I'm actually closer to Santa Barbara than UCLA. What's up, guys? So and he was on that team, and I love the Juzang family. I'm not saying that in any kind of way. I'm just saying it's like a chip on my shoulder. Like I really was. In a way, I might take that house down brick by brick, like, and keep loading up this chip as like a piece of armor. And when he texted me that, I remember I threw my phone, and we beat Florida State. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Dude, damn, I used to have that. I had that in quotes on my wall as a sicko. Yeah, like mentally, I'd look at that. If I felt lazy or, I don't know, I don't play video games, but if I felt lazy, like, I don't want to go work out, I want to watch a movie, I'd just turn in my room and it would say, he's not a D1 player. Imagine reading that every day and remind yourself that somebody who's, you know, glorified and respected doesn't think you could hoop on a D. I'm not talking, I would say this if you're sitting here, you motivated me, you got me better, you helped me. But just when I heard you say that, and I knew you said it. And then a D2 coach also called me, and I was like, man, I was
I
like,
have to go off really quick. Parents, kids' confidence is built off of how you tell them to respond to things like that.
Yeah.
The reason that Ryan is able to use that as fuel to get him to a level nobody expected him to be is because what your parents instilled in you by either what they did, showed you, or what they told you. Parents today try to protect their kids from these coaches who are taking all their confidence when you should be giving them so much confidence that it doesn't matter what someone says, you can run through a brick wall for what you want in life.
Totally.
Stop babying these kids, man, and let them experience what life is about, because we run into it as adults now.
Yeah.
We run into adversity, hard times, and all these things that we have to go through in order to grow. And if we go and save our kids from these moments saying, hey, you're being too tough on my kid, or you shouldn't talk to kids like that. Hey, Ryan truly believed that. But guess what? Ryan helps hundreds and thousands of kids. It's not like he was.
Ryan's incredible.
He is.
Yeah.
But then he came back and said, hey, I made a mistake.
Yeah. He
And
texted me something along the lines of that. Not
Yeah.
word for word, but
hey, there was some remorse.
it might have been like amazing game, wow, impressed, but I really threw my phone. I was pissed. I didn't want that text.
I love it. Build that mindset for your kids. Have them write those negative things that coaches say on the wall and use it as fuel to the fire, or however you want to internalize it. But that is like, man, that is how I live, right?
Totally.
It's just, I think there's a different tenacity that we go through life, and you probably use it in your business now.
Oh yeah.
Like, you want to be the best.
Yeah.
Just like you competed on the court, you're doing it in the real estate game. And
Totally.
like, that's what is important, is that you carry that character trait over.
And I'm still going to be a professional. You might tell me, hey, you're not good enough. I'm going to shake you in your hand, look you in the eye, and say thank you for the opportunity, because 4 years from now, I have no idea
You might want to sell Ryan a house.
You just have no idea. In 4 years, I could say, Ryan, you know, I could have said inappropriate words to him, and everyone knows I'm a tough. At the end of the day, like I'm down. I'm a chill dude, but I am a tough dude. Like I could have turned that on in 2 seconds. Instead, I just was like, cool, cool. And then I just remembered it. I don't have to extort my feelings and emotions. Also, at that time, I'm a child. I think I'm 15 years old.
Yeah, right.
What I look like an insane kid now. Okay. Or I can internalize, like you said, and I can remind myself every day when I don't feel like waking up at 6 or 5 a.m. or, oh, my calf's sore. Like Travis will tell you, I used to call Travis at 5 a.m. like, yo, I'm already at 360. He's like, we don't start till 5:30. Someone let me in. I gotta do like some foam rolling or stretching or running around. And he would just be like, dude, do you sleep? Like, I mean, yeah, when I have to, but like, let's work. And that was my mindset though. And also like, shout out to Travis as well. I left out Travis completely, and that's not right.
You didn't, because you're talking about him now.
Yeah.
He was going to come up.
He was going to come up for sure. I actually have to give Travis a ton of credit too. When I wasn't with Steph those summers, I was with Travis every morning at 5 a.m. So I want to say thank you to Travis, to him and his wife and family, for letting me steal their husband from 5 to 8 a.m. in the Valley. Because I would make him stay till like 7 or 8
every day.
And people don't get it. I would be in there also with Zach as well. Shout out to Zach, great kid, really good dude. And Zach, I'd be like, Zach, you're not guarding me hard enough. I'm like, Zach, you can hit me. Just don't take out my feet. I'm like, you can elbow me in the face. I'm like, if I'm bleeding, I'm like, you're doing your job. I want to get better. And he was like, you're crazy. I'm like, no, I need to be prepared. Yeah. And that's how I looked at it in Travis as well. I mean, Travis will tell you.
You know, Zach still works with me.
Oh, no way.
No, he's my lead trainer.
Oh, well, there you go. So shout out to Zach. I mean, this is literally like, shout out to Zach's hard work then too. I mean, that was like 3 years ago. And now look, he's now working with you. And he's a great dude. And like, I'm just saying like the same thing, basketball opens so many doors. It's just so cool. But being with Travis as well, he was like, you're a sicko. He used to laugh. And I was like, man, I'm a junkie. I am a basketball junkie and now real estate junkie. I'm a deal junkie. Like if I can smell a deal for a client, like I'm like basketball. If I think there's a chance we get in this gym to go work out, I'm gonna probably be the first one there, slamming some doors around trying to figure out how we get in here. So I take that mindset of what you're saying about the Ryan situation, for example, and Ryan means no harm. Ryan's a nice, loving dude, has all these kids under him and really did a great thing. I was never a part of that. I was just, another kid, and he was like, yeah, I don't think that's his opinion.
Right.
So
and then maybe you weren't.
And maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was a pudgy white kid who was tough and like he had to score every there and there, and you liked his game, but he doesn't check. I don't fit the airport test, and that's what I realized. So I take that as well in my mind, and I'm like, man, every day I don't fit the airport test. Look over here, you're not good enough. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna go on a run with a weight vest with a basketball, or I'm gonna go to a track and on every curve do 10 minutes of ball hand or 2 drills and then sprint like. Make it like a game. And actually, Gilbert just talked about that. I did that as well, which I thought was awesome. I actually hit Gilbert, and I was like, dude, I used to do this, which is pretty cool. Yeah. I don't get it. Kids nowadays are so soft. Everything, like, I'm all for mental healthness. I speak on it. I think if you're struggling with something, it's okay to go reach out for help. Yes. I think it should be more talked about for sure. I was someone who struggled with depression as well through basketball after my injuries and officially being done because you don't know what to do. But you have to kind of look deep in yourself and go, I got to figure this out. And that's what I did with basketball. I'm like, I got to get good. I got to get really good to the point where you might be able to say, man, on the court, he's a little dirty, he's tough. But you can't say he's not good. That's kind of what I wanted. Like, I didn't mind all the other stuff. Oh, he's tough, but he's gonna play hard. He's gonna try to win. Like, I'm gonna die trying to win this game.
You weren't Grayson Allen, where it's like, dude, you didn't have to do that, right? He's tough, but
he's very dirty.
Good.
No, he's dirty for sure.
He does some dirty stuff. You weren't like that, but you were definitely like, oh man, like there's a bit of psycho on the court.
Sure. But I think you have to have that in a way, a little bit to you.
It's a healthy psycho.
Yeah. To be that successful. I mean, Kobe Bryant is a prime example of that. Tom Brady, and when Tom was talking about how people looked at him at Michigan, is kind of how I felt throughout. It was cool to hear his podcast, and then like you asked me that, bring up the mental side of things. I think, yes, mental health is important, and I'm all for it. But you also have to be so tough. If you want to be really good.
That's the mental health. That's the part, is making your mind. You have to build it up, and it's how you.
But you really got to believe it. Like, you got to feel in your body. Like, I'm talking about right now, and I'm like, man, like, let's go play.
You're like all hyped up.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you get into it, and that's what I'm saying. You have that, like I remember at Pitt, I got there, and it was Xavier Johnson, who's an incredible point guard and basketball player. He's at Indiana. He just wrapped up. Trey McGowan, who's in the G League with his Hornets. His brother's Bryce, who plays for the Hornets. Mm-hmm. I came into a situation where those two dudes are on draft boards. I'm at the University of Pittsburgh. I don't look the part. They're not accepting me at all because they know I'm here to take their spot. So when I saw the Tom Brady podcast, I was like, dude, I know how that felt. Like, I know how sitting there felt, and X and Trey know all the plays, and they're kicking my butt during practice because they've been here, they know what's going on. And I just kept telling myself, okay, like, I don't like the 1% thing. I think that's dumb. I just think every day, show up and do your job and add extra, and you're going to get better. If I can do more than you, I'm going to get better. Like with math. If I study this math sheet, I'm going to just be better at math than you. That's how I looked at it, as black and white. So, in a way, and eventually I started figuring it out. And eventually I started learning at Pitt, like, okay, they do this well. I do X, Y, and Z well. They don't do that well. So instead of like trying to like go against them every day and make them not like me in terms as a person in basketball, I fit the glue in a way like, Trey, you can't shoot. Kick it out. I got you. And then Trey, after a while, started to kick it out. And then that opened up his drives for his crazy dunks and his insane athletic ability, and X to get downhill. I tell X, I can't get downhill like you, but I can get this guy off balance, and then you can cut. I got you. And we started to build that. And that, like what Tom Brady said, though, I looked at them when I got there, and I was like, man, I'm going to take all your minutes. And I had to change my mindset because now I'm no longer that. I'm like, all right, we got to win. And how are we going to all gel together? But Even though at the same time I was looking like I gotta get more minutes, and that was my thing. I hated coming off the court. I think that's where the tough, crazy mentality came. I used to tell, I hate coming off. Unless I'm in foul trouble, why you take me out? You tired? Nah, I'm in the best shape possible. I train so I can be in this game. That's the other thing I will say. I hate when coaches do that. They take you out and say, oh, you look tired. If it's like someone who really works and they're good, coach, I trained to be in this kind of shape. That was what I used to say.
Yeah.
And Cable used to say, sit your butt down and I'll put you back in 4 minutes, relax. So I just wanted to win that badly. And I always wanted, I have a little bit of the Michael Jordan syndrome in me. We could be playing cards and I'd be like, nah, play again. Like I just love the competitiveness. I love the nature of it and the fun in it and the winning and the determination though too that it takes. And it's a cool thing to accomplish a goal, like to accomplish someone telling you can't do something and you do it. There's no better feeling.
Right.
Like it's how when I got the Pitt, I was like, all right, Ryan, truth be told, I drafted you up a text message. I drafted it up, and then I debated on sending it. It's just like, you know, I heard you say I never make it, and I just pressed cancel. I was like, this is gonna do for me. Let me go shoot.
No, you gotta express it.
Yeah, that's what I did. I literally pressed cancel, and
you journaled it a little.
Yeah, and I've never done that before. And then I was like, man, I'm going to shoot. What am I doing? I was like, this isn't even me. But no, seriously, like what you're saying with the mental toughness, I think you have to reach that though, and you have to go through stuff to get mentally tough too. You have to have somebody tell you no. I think it's the problem too. Parents are like, you're gonna make it to the league. Let me tell you something. Good chance your kid not making it to the league.
Yeah.
And you better tell your kid.
Higher chance to get struck by lightning. Like literally.
Literally, yeah. So I think it's important for kids to know, like, if my son's like, Dad, you think I'm good? I'll be like, son,
I just think about you.
Yeah.
Your work ethic, all the time you spent in the gym with the opportunities you had that most people don't get, and you didn't make it to the NBA.
No.
It's crazy.
I've seen the floor at Crypto. I've touched it a few times. Yeah. You know, sat right on the court.
Right.
High five my friends running by me while they're playing.
Right.
Taking some warm-up shots, but that's as far as I've gotten in terms of the NBA. And I mean, there's so many good dudes that don't play in the NBA too. That's the other thing too. And I think parents have to have that. I'm not saying discourage their kid, but my dad told me at a young age, he's like, dude, you might not chance. You know, my dad, his reaction, he went, you making the league? Yeah, okay. You got a better chance of working at JP Morgan, dude. And I also took him saying that in that casual way of like, okay.
I see.
Cool. And but I took it on that mindset instead of kids nowadays. I think I think they see stuff on social media and they're like, dang, I want that life. Or why don't I have this? Or they're thinking, wow, like I catch myself with that with work. I see someone sell something and I have to remind myself or get that client or get that deal. They've been in the business for 30 years. I'm on year 2.5. I have to constantly remind myself of like, and I think kids have to remind themselves like, wow, like Zion Williamson is driving a Lambo truck. That's why. Zion's 6'6" with a 48-inch vertical and he's built like this wall.
Right.
You're 5'5", and you're 16 years old. Let's have a real conversation.
Yeah.
Your dad's only 5'9", you're 5'6". Like, if you want to make it, you have to be the best. You have to love this more than anything in the world. And I also think kids don't nowadays. They go play video games or TikTok and stuff. I'm all for it. Do your thing. But if you're going to be a player, put the phone down, put the game down.
Do the work that it takes to get
and
to
then
where
you'll get here. You'll get here through that.
Yeah.
You won't get here through Call of Duty. You'll get mental toughness. To me, is like you go play pickup, you get dunked on. Like I got dunked on by Stanley Johnson. If you haven't and you're from LA, you're lying. Him in 8th grade was a grown man. He dunked on me so bad, dude, on Ball Is Life run, at Dinos' run. I didn't change my day.
Right.
I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna shoot this 3 if I get a kick, or I'm gonna go try and score. So I think that mental toughness comes from, if you're in basketball, I think basketball being through wins and losses, and then like Cali style, when that was a thing with DeVerl and those guys, man, they kicked our butt. You know what, I'll never forget this day. They kicked our butt at Hacks. I never met DeVerl until that day. Coolest dude. We're still friends, and I'm still boys with everybody at Sierra and everything, but they kicked our butt, and I felt embarrassed. I felt like a loser. I didn't go home and like cry or like sit down. I went home and I literally told my dad, yo, I'm going to the park. What are you doing? I got to go work on my game.
Yeah. The response to that moment of
he was like, why? We just drove an hour and a half. You know, we're in Compton or wherever it was, Englewood. It's an hour and a half drive back to Malibu, Calabasas. Like, you sure? You just played 2K. Are you coming with me or am I going alone? And he was like, I'll come with you in an hour. He was testing to see if I really was there. By the time I was there, I remember this. I was in like a shirt, pure covered in sweat. He was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm running. I'm doing conditioning shooting. I'm doing full court layups. And that's when he was like, oh, okay, you get it. Like if I lose a deal, am I going to sit home and cry? Am I going to pout that I didn't get a beautiful home with the person I met with 10 times? No. There's a billion more homes. Gotta go do my job. Okay, this one didn't work, on to the next one. That's how I looked at it with basketball. We lost this game. I played like crap. Am I gonna sit here and sulk, or am I gonna man up and go to the gym? Go to the gym. Like, I don't get it. Stop being like, I'm all for it. I understand. Trust me. I've been down bad. Like, oh man. But I always responded back by going to do the thing that put me here in the first place. Basketball. I'm gonna go right back to it. Or if it's whatever you do in your professional field, just double down on it and lock in and just black out, as my dad calls it. He goes, you just black out. You get in that zone like an assassin, where it's just all I see is this. Yeah.
No, man. Your perspective on life and how basketball has played a part in it's been amazing. We have to fast forward through this next part.
For sure.
There's going to be a long podcast.
Yeah.
I want people to hear the amazing information you have. So we're going to fast forward through what happened after Pitt. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to hit on some points. Pitt after college.
Where am I now?
Brief stint where after college, and then what you're doing now, how you transition that. Yeah. So 2-minute drill, let's go.
All right, played at Pitt. Pitt was amazing. Cable, like I said, legend, amazing coach. Pitt experience was amazing. Full Nike, full ACC, everything. Built kind of what I said. Don't let the game. I learned. Don't let the game use you. You use the game. I built relationships with, this is going to track to where I'm getting at, with tons of NFL players that played at Pitt. They were actually on my floor, amazing dudes. Kenny Pickett's one of them. James Conner and I became friends, who was a legend in Pittsburgh. Terrell Edmonds. And you just start to build a relationship with people through basketball, because you are their NBA. So that was something too I got to learn with being on the spotlight. I've never really been a spotlight guy. Mm-hmm. Not my thing. I like to hang out at the beach, man, and hoop. So that taught me how to grow up very quickly too, in terms of how you carry yourself outside of the court, because now phones, video cameras. There's a tweet actually where I got caught eating Cheerios at 2 a.m. outside CVS, and they said Ryan's getting drunk. And I said, I had to respond back actually on Twitter. I said, it's Cheerios. So I learned though, like, hey, you have to grow up quickly. Left Pitt. I grad transferred, true story, to Tulane to go play. Ron Hunter was the coach. I ended up, COVID freaking me out. I was someone who was just weirded out by COVID. I was like, what is this? And I was the first person, I think, out of my year of graduation, because I did graduate as a junior. I graduated and went straight to Portugal. And then I was in Portugal, came back to LA, worked out with Drew a lot during COVID. Sorry, Drew, we're breaking COVID rules. I was at his house like every day with a trainer named Mikey G, who I think a lot of people know as well. Yeah. Me, him, Ray, McCollum, Mike James.
Mr. Do It Moving.
Mr. Do It Moving. I was one of his original guys, yeah, as well. Like, I've known Mikey G forever, great dude. Then I got a phone call to go play in Italy, played in Italy. Got an opportunity to actually, I don't know how to word this properly, I would say work out in front of a lot of NBA people. They invited me back to a private gym, and I had a lot of workouts for NBA people I was very excited about. Did very, very well. Got home the next morning, and I felt my foot just bothering me. Went back to go get my foot x-rayed in the pin. So I don't have a pinky. I have like a huge pin in my foot, about probably like that big, and it tweaked during the workout. So they had to fix that, and I was out for another 5 months. So here we are now. Fast forward now. I am a real estate agent at the Beverly Hills Estates. I work under Brandon and Rainey Williams, who are incredible. I have a business partner named Andreas Elsenhans, who is famously known for this year, before I'm a part of it as well, but he sold a home for $64 million, and then he represented the sale to Travis Scott in Brentwood, which was like a legendary sale. That's my direct business partner, and we also work with Brandon and Rainey, who are unbelievable. Brandon, you're my guy. He's the best, and they're just so fun, and Brandon has the same mentality, honestly, that you and I do. Brandon doesn't come from much at all, and he turned himself into a successful actor. He's in The Entourage a couple times and other stuff. Sorry, Brandon. And then he became one of the most powerful real estate agents that just is so uber connected and determined to be excellent. He is all about excelling through anything. He doesn't believe in softness. He's all about figuring it out. Just get the deal, as he says, in escrow and figure it out. And that's kind of what my career has now taken me to, and I've had the blessing to work with. I mean, while we're sitting here, I'm opening escrow for a friend in Florida who is a basketball player. So just kind of got to this point now where I love it. I'm obsessed with real estate. I work with tons of NBA, NFL, people from all sorts of walks of life, which is really cool. So that's where I'm at now. It's been a wild experience.
Your opportunities to play at multiple locations open this door for networking for you more than anything to be in this position where you're at, just because you're known for hoops still.
Yeah.
But now people respect you as a real estate agent because they know how you grind and how you work for people.
Yeah.
And that character piece is so important when you transition from when this ball stops bouncing on the court to how you allow it to take you through the rest of your life.
Totally, man. I mean, I'll say his name on here just because he's a good friend and I've represented him a few times. Like, without basketball, I wouldn't have been able to work with Fred VanVleet in terms of real estate and him trusting me and it's also a big deal, finding you the right home. Like, this is where you sleep, where your kids are, your wife, your family, or whatever you have going on in your life. This is where you lay your head. So I've gotten to work with Fred VanVleet, which was awesome. Fred and I talk all the time about real estate. He'll send me stuff. I send him stuff on Instagram. We just kind of go back and forth. Malik Beasley is someone I've represented multiple times. That's also through basketball, Florida State, Pitt, just the connections. And now I'm actually representing him again on something else. Hamidou Diallo, basketball, that one's kind of self-explanatory just through us playing together. So it opened up so many doors in terms of business. And honestly, just for everyone listening, you would be surprised at how much people love basketball. One of these guys is building a compound in Brentwood that Rainey and Brandon are listing for $50 million. And the guy connected with me, they're working on it, they're the listing agents, but I met with him just accidentally because of basketball. His kids train at the district, and you'd have no idea. And he was the coolest dude, and halfway through, he's like, yeah, I love basketball. And our whole conversation went from house, because you got to find comfortability and compatibility with someone, or else why are we working together? Because we got to like each other at the end of the day here. And we hit it off, and it was all about hoops and how he got started in his life journey and how much he loves basketball. And there's a lot of just hoop junkies out there, and once you break the ice or they see that I've played, they're like, oh wait, dude, I have a court, let's go play, or do you want to go to a game, or it just it changes the room. And there's a certain level of respect that comes with the ACC and the Euro League, or even saying, hey, I was a legit, you can look it up, it's not like I'm lying.
Right.
Hey, I played for Jeff Capel. You can look up on YouTube, Ryan Murphy, Pitt. You can look up on Google, Ryan Murphy, Italy, all that comes up. So people do their homework. They're going to, okay, because they also do the eye test. Oh, you played hoops, yeah, okay. One of my biggest clients, I did a deal for him, and he bought his neighbor's house to tear it down to build the dream basketball court. He's a lawyer, and if you looked at him, you'd be like, you don't know basketball. He's a diehard Arizona basketball fan.
Basketball court?
I don't know. He's giving me the plans next week. It's going to be sick. It's incredible. He's a really successful lawyer, and he loves basketball. We connected, and the reason he used me was because we work out at the same gym, and I was wearing a tank top, and he saw my basketball tattoo. And he came up to me. He was like, "Did you play? What's the story?" And I told him, I'm just like, "Yeah." I kind of rubbed him off, because I was like, "Okay." He's like, "No, I love hoops." We got dinner. Ended up going over his house for a birthday party. He pulls me aside and he goes, "I want to buy my neighbor's house. Can you get it done?" I was like, "Dude, of course." And same thing. No one's going to tell you no. I'm going to try to figure this out and frickin' get to work. And luckily enough, we got him $4 million off the asking price because I just kept telling the agent, "You're going to take this off." You got to kind of. It gets dark in those hours when you're negotiating, but you negotiate, especially at that level. And but basketball, man, it just changed my life in every way, shape, or form. I'll always be indebted to that thing right there, and it's the only thing I'm obsessed with still. Right now, if you were to call me and go, "Hey, want to hoop?" I have a showing at 4. I don't know how I'm gonna figure that out, but if we can play at 5:30, I'm in. I still am addicted, but without basketball, I really don't know where I'd be, don't know what I'd be doing, even now. The reason I started, actually, I'm going on a tangent because I'm thinking about it, was because a player called me to go see a house for him. And it was a small little lease. And a lease, in terms of a little lease, an agent actually doesn't get paid that much for doing a lease, just to be fully transparent. It's not like selling Sunset and all that crap on Netflix. It's just not. And I asked the agent, "Hey, how much do you make if he leases this home?" He was like, it sounds like a lot because of the price now. But he said, I make $5,000. I said, "You make $5,000 just leasing this out. And if my friend leases it, do you rep both sides?" He goes, "Yeah, I make 10. I said, And all you have to do is have connections to people, know your stuff about real estate, and kind of, have a little bit of grit to you where you're going to work. You're going to, I go door knock. If you told me, "Hey, I like that house," I'm going to go knock on their door and, "Hey, would you entertain an offer?" You got to have that to you a little bit.
after this.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
The house that I want. That
Exactly. Here it goes.
That it's actually Kenny Clark used to live in it.
No way.
Yeah, it's up in
Legendary.
and I'm like, it's my dream home.
Yeah?
I love that house.
Well-
And it was the gas leak made him move, and so yeah, that was way back. It was when it was like first happened or whatever. But I'm like, I want that house.
Yeah, exactly. But exactly, that's how. But exactly, that's how it all starts. And same thing, basketball. Like seriously, it all literally comes down to we know each other through basketball. Like a lot of people also know me through my dad, but that's also through basketball. Because my dad going to play at 360 in Calabasas. And
Yeah, so I met your dad first, and then I mean you were always in the gym, and then just seeing you.
Yeah.
I saw you every morning working out with Travis.
Yeah.
That's
religiously.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was when you were with Chris down the other end, though.
Yeah.
Or, like, you guys working all the NBA
no,
guys.
I think I was.
Or
I was with Impact then.
Oh my
I was
God,
doing
with Joe,
it was
right?
Raleigh. I had Raleigh, Brandon McCoy, and DJ Hogue that year. I was
Oh
doing
man, that's a
pre-draft.
great group right
And
there.
Chris was on the other side.
Yes,
and so,
that's 100% right.
Yeah, that was a great
Yeah.
summer. And because Dash was going, Samaki was going.
Mhm. That's a. But,
Oh,
but that's
man,
what I'm
that
saying.
was
There's nothing
amazing.
better than that.
Yeah.
Like how great is that? Like at 6 o'clock in California, it's already 80 degrees. You walk in there and there's just dudes hooping. And then after it's like, let's go grab a swim. And then after it's like, I just love the whole camaraderie. Like there's a different, like I said, athletes have a different level of respect for athletes. Just
Yes.
how certain businessmen have a different level of respect for certain businessmen because you see their path or like their path, you hear about it. Like certain guys, you just have so much respect for it. And their game too, it translates to their game where you're like, wow, this dude can hoop. You may not like him off the court, sure, but like certain people don't like LeBron,
does.
but say what you want. LeBron is LeBron. That dude is the king. He is what you would.
I don't know how you don't like LeBron, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Solid dude, man.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
for
just
sure.
respect him as an athlete, and that's how I. But to backtrack to everything back to what I do
Yeah.
now, real estate. That's how I look at it. I took everything that I was told. I had a really big realtor that I worked with. Also tell me, hey, like I don't think you're gonna make it. And within my first year, I did 56 million. So I was like, okay. But same thing. I had a situation where someone said, hey, I don't know if this is right for you. And I was like, okay. And I just said, thank you for letting me be here. I appreciate it. And I went to a different location. And I mean, I have a listing coming up that I've worked my butt off for 26 million bucks coming up, or 22. He says 25, but I've worked my butt off for that. And I'm talking like people think it's like the TV show. No, I go and knock on people's doors. I go and I do like last night I was up till 1 a.m. doing handwritten letters to houses that I know maybe didn't sell last year. Maybe they want to sell now. And that's, it's putting in the, it's like doing workouts.
Getting reps. Yep.
Yeah,
Two ball dribbling.
Exactly. Because then when the time comes, hey Ryan, I got your letter, blah blah blah. It's so and so with this address. Now I know in my head, like I have it memorized. I could tell you like every house I sent a letter to last night. It was over easily 100 houses. I could tell you every square footage, every lot size, everything like that. Because if you call me and ask me, I gotta know that. Hey Ryan, you gotta like running a play is how I look at knowing a house. If you don't know the play, sub, you're coming out. Or if we gotta run this exact play to win the game, you're coming out. And if you ask me who's the designer of a $10 million house and it's designed, and I say I don't know, why would you work with me?
Yeah.
I'd be like, you don't know what you're doing. And that's how I took basketball and real estate and kind of merged it together. Yeah.
Awesome, man. We're gonna move to the next segment, man. You guys, please just listen to this full episode. Karina, put this at the end of the clip on there. Like that. Too much good stuff. We're gonna go to my Rushmore.
Okay.
Your top 4. Man, you're just a hooper. Your top 4 hoopers of all time. Who do you have? Who are your GOATs?
Michael Beasley. That threw you off, huh?
Yeah. Really?
Hell yeah. Who can guard him?
Oh no, Michael. I've seen him get buckets.
Prime Beasley is terrifying. If you put like Prime Beasley up against a lot of
No,
dudes,
I
I know that was the first one that's going to throw a lot of people out. To me, it's obviously Michael Jordan. So let me just put him as one. But Beasley's been on my mind.
Order, so
Oh, no order?
No.
Beasley, Jordan.
No. He's the hardest person to guard. I think one of the hardest. Okay, Jordan.
Damn, I only got 4. I can't pick 5.
No, it's, no, your top 4. My Rushmore. I know. Because now you got to disrespect somebody.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be LeBron, but it might have to be.
It's okay.
No, I don't want to. That's the hard part about this because I love LeBron. I have to put Jordan in there, so that's 2. I don't know what it is about Beasley. I just felt like he was incredible.
Yeah.
And very misunderstood as a person.
Yeah.
From like learning all about him and everything and seeing. Because I still watch the one-on-one videos. He is
He's
killing.
still cooking people.
It's just embarrassing.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
dudes who are getting max contracts. He's just like M1 dunk. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Jordan, Beasley, Curry. Kobe. I'm not getting rid of Kobe. I wore 24 in college. I wear 8 and 10 and 24.
Yeah.
I'm a Mamba dude. I'm a Laker. I gotta go Kobe. LeBron, I'm sorry I got you at 5. I know it's not allowed on this show, but I'm gonna put
Sorry,
you at
there
5.
go. The honorable mention is fine. So my 4 is Bron, Kobe, Jordan. I probably have said this before, and Karina's probably checking this. No? Okay.
Not about them.
All time? Okay, yeah. So yeah, I got Ron, Kobe, Jordan. And I'm out to put Steph. Oh.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
have to put Steph up there.
You have to.
I have to put
He
Steph
changed
up
the
there,
game of
man.
basketball. Like that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, he completely changed. He made it so that honestly, in a way, I'm successful in the game. Or a guy like a Trae Young or a Jordan Poole. Like yes, they're phenomenal players. But back in the day, that wasn't a thing of coming down like in Coach Carter, where Cruz comes down and they yell Cruz and he pulls up for 3. Yeah, that wasn't a thing until like it was actually in the movie. Think about that. I was looked down upon. Like what a bad shot. It's a 2-on-1. He pulls for 3. Now you're like, shoot the 3. Like you're almost yelling at your player. Like what are you doing? Why a mid range? So I think you got to put him in there, or else it's LeBron. I mean, that's for me, it's LeBron.
No. All good. It's your 4. That's why it's fun. It's a little
That's
controversial.
hard. Yeah, but I got Beasley in there. I'm not getting rid of Beasley. I got Beasley top 10 all time.
There you go.
I love Beasley, man. And that's a very biased opinion, but he is a specimen when it comes to basketball. I wish he was still playing, or I mean, the big 3 looks like a joke watching him play. It's just someone missed, he backed out, hit a game winner. It's like you foul him every play. I'm just like this dude averaged 10 in the league for sure right now. But I'm a fan.
Our next segment, Fix the Net. All right. So a misconception about either yourself or basketball that you want to make straight.
I actually have a really funny one. Okay. When I was younger growing up, everyone thought I was older. I don't know why. So just for clarification.
We did think you were older.
Yeah, just for clarification.
I was one of those people.
I was born in 1997. So just for clarification, my birthday is actually in 2 days. So if you want to do the math,
Happy
August
birthday.
17th, or 3 days, whatever that is. But yeah, I think that's my misconception was everyone always used to be like, he's older. I'm like, nah, I just played older and then came back to my
And
grade.
your birthday's kind of late.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I was never like 3 years older than my classmates.
It was you and Max actually. People thought both of you guys
really?
were old. Yeah, because Max went over to the East Coast too. And came
Yeah,
back
he
and
did go to the
everybody
East Coast. Yeah, he went to Blair Academy in New
Yeah.
Jersey, I believe, for a little bit.
We're
But
gonna
yeah.
fix the net, though.
Let me,
So hey, he is actually not as old as y'all think. His dad did not change his birth certificate.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that like randomly. People would be like, "You're a holdback," and I was, or like, "You're old," or like, "You're 20," and I'm like, "Dude, if I was 20, you think I'd be in high school?"
You could not play in the CIF.
I'm like, let's be real. Like, I used to say to people, like, kids at my school would even come up to me and be like, "Dude, you're old," and I would be like, "Hi, I'm Ryan. Like, what? Nice to meet you, dude." Like, I don't like. I used to just be like, "What?" And like, if I'm that old, why am I here? And why wouldn't you be calling me to like be your go-to if you like wanted to go out? Like, I was like, dude, this is nuts. But it was really fun. I actually played into that role a lot.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious, and like I'm a goof. Like I'm very sarcastic and facetious at heart.
Yeah.
So like, people used to be like, "You're like 20," and I'd be like, "Dude, I'm 22." Or like they're like, "You're 18." I'm like, "No, I'm actually 21." Like, just don't tell anyone. I used to say that stuff, just like, yeah. And the next thing I know, it's like Ryan Murphy told me on Twitter, and I'm like, dude, how old are you? It's like also like, but that's the thing. Mental toughness. I laugh at stuff like that. Like when we played Duke, a dude my dad has the picture, and he has a picture of the back of my head because I have very thin hair, and I'm going bald. This is what it is, part of life.
Right.
And they held the Alex Caruso picture and my picture every time I touched the ball. And it was one of the funniest things. And after the game, I walked over to the kid. I'm like, "Yo," and he was like, I'm like, "Yo, can I take a picture with you?" And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, this is awesome." So my dad has a picture of like me with the kid with the Caruso sign, and you have to embrace stuff like that. Like I think it's hilarious. Like and I just laugh at that stuff. But yeah, the older thing was really funny. My yearbook quote, I think, is "I'm not 20." I think that's my yearbook quote from high school, and I think they framed it like my mom or dad. Because I was like, where'd this come from? I was so curious, where'd this like start? I just woke up one day and people were like, "You're older." I'm like, "No, I'm just pretty good at this thing called basketball."
Man.
And my dad wanted me, he didn't make me, let me rephrase it. He wanted me to play older, which I totally will do with my son.
Right.
Make my kid,
100%.
you're 12 years
I
old?
tell people
Let's go play
all
14 year
the
olds.
time.
Let's see how good you are. Look at
LaMelo
Sky
Ball.
Clark.
LaMelo Ball.
Now look at LaMelo, max contract, incredible talent. Sky Clark also, I believe, played up too.
Yep.
And arguably the best point guard in college basketball right now, I think, like our top 2, top 10, whatever you want to say, but he's a baller. And I think all the kids play. I mean, Jello played up too, Lonzo's little bro. So, I mean, why don't you play up? I don't get it. And also, if you get stronger and better quicker.
Yeah.
And you're playing.
Aaron Holiday been playing with.
Aaron's been playing with Drew since how long?
Forever.
Exactly.
They were in literally since high school. So since Drew was in high school, but.
Exactly.
Next segment, we flip the script.
Cool.
All right, 2 questions for me. Could be
Two
about
questions
anything in the
for you.
world.
It's a question I want to ask you, but you said not to ask you, so I got to word it differently.
Okay.
When you first started what you do now, did you think it would become this big and successful thing
Heck no.
going into it? Because I know you said not to ask
No,
that
that's a good
question.
question.
But I want to
That is
ask
a
your
different
mindset
question.
in a way when you were like, because I remember, and then I'll let you talk. Sorry, I just remember Travis, Dash. I remember everyone in 360, and everyone talking about like, I'm going to do my own school, I'm going to do my own thing. And Travis has done his own thing, and certain people have, gone on their own and started their own thing. But you have done a job of doing your own thing and still somehow being involved in like everything else, but still being able to separate that with your own thing. That is, I mean, it's extremely well known in the Valley and throughout basketball and skill development and just your reputation of how you actually know what you're doing with kids. People trust you, and you know basketball to a T, man. It's not like you're a bozo. You know everything about the game. You're overqualified to obviously do what you're doing right now with kids. So did you ever wake up one day and go, I'm just going to blow this thing up? Or were you like, let's just see?
It was a hobby because of Johnny Juzang.
Totally.
And then from there, it just kept growing. And then I even tried to run away from it. Probably 5 years in, I wanted to become I became an agent.
Yeah.
I actually became
Oh,
an
really?
NBA agent. Like, I'm very, very, not a lot of people know this. 2019, my daughter was born a month after I passed the test.
Oh, wow.
I became an NBA agent because all the kids who were in core I'm like,
We got some pros.
yeah, and I'm a trusted person, and I want to make sure they're not getting screwed by anybody because there are people who do that too.
Every
So
day.
I became an agent. It was the same summer I started working with Chris, and started working with Clutch Sports with their pre-draft process and just being around like really training NBA guys. So I had to kind of make a decision because also that's the same year that the dynamic of my business changed. We had 72 kids, and I added football and baseball, and then that was I wasn't ready to lead that big of a program at the time, but figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So that next year I dropped back down, and I really figured out how to manage as we grew, as we
Yeah.
scaled, and COVID happened, so we're out, and then I never stopped marketing. So COVID hit, and I just never stopped.
I felt like as an entrepreneur, COVID was the best time for you to really push your business because people were just so bored, and also no one was doing anything but watching podcasts, TV, movies, and Instagram, Twitter. I felt like it was the perfect time. Sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
but for
Absolutely.
an entrepreneur to be like, hey, you're on your phone all day. Look at this. Like, I'm out here doing this. Like,
Yep.
and
And I'm a relational, like it was based off of relationships. I just kept talking to people, and we went from 36 kids to 125. And then we're at 100, the two campuses now, 165 at one campus.
That's amazing.
Maybe more. I think we have more than that now, and 80 or 90 at the other campus.
that's incredible.
And so, had no idea. I'm still wrapping my head around what happened. Like, how did
That's incredible,
How
though.
did we get here?
That scale is amazing.
Never thought it would happen. Very blessed, very fortunate. The families are amazing. Like, they're the ones who make us go because they trust and they support us, and they allow us to like develop
Teach
their
them,
kid. And so that's been the best part, is the families. Like, from Maxie Juzang, who was the first parent of this, everybody knows Maxie's amazing. Like,
Great dude.
Just a great dude.
Juzang family, just putting that out there, is incredible. Johnny and Mr. Juzang, I have known in and out my whole life in terms of just being around each other, and Johnny, and more so Johnny than Christian, just because of basketball and our dynamic. Great Pete. I've never heard one person say anything bad about the Juzang family ever, and I don't think I ever will. They're just upfront, real, and amazing hoopers too.
Hardworking,
Extremely.
man,
I mean,
all of them.
one
They're
brother
just-
goes to Harvard, the other one goes to UCLA. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, that's like a dream. And both great dudes.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
That's
Shout out
nuts.
to Han too. Mom's is no joke.
I never met the mom. That's why I'll say Miss Juzang. I apologize.
She is, she's a beast. She's in the financial stuff.
Oh,
And
amazing.
So, yeah,
For sure.
amazing family. But yeah, so from Maxie all the way to the new parents that we have this year. Like, I'm in here because of a kid who's in core.
Exactly.
His dad
awesome.
owns this studio.
So
and
cool.
Is blessed to allow me to use this space. And so shout out D, National Lampoon's, Demetrius.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, man. Like, so it's literally like every part of my life has been impacted by basketball and core, and so that growth is like, it's just a blessing, and it's still growing. That's the crazy thing. It's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
I'm prepared now. What I did during COVID was I read 36 books on leadership, all John Maxwell. I read every
Great.
single John Maxwell book, and so leadership is like where I try to just grow and thrive in every single day.
And everyone needs different kind of leadership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Great question.
My second one is going to be, well, I kind of have three. Second one is how comfortable are those shoes? We got to talk about them really quickly.
All right, yo, shout out to Canes. Yo, look at Canes. You know what it is. These are the Just Hoop Canes. Shout out my man Chris Johnson. So he has a collab with them. I don't think I wear anything else besides these, outside of my hoop shoes. Yeah. I wear these to church. I've worn them to weddings. I've worn them to funerals.
Best shoe. No, they're so comfortable.
Yeah,
no, that's why.
Literally, like they're built for athletic recovery. And so,
totally. I've slowly gone back into like really training again, and those shoes I wear every day.
Canes, I don't know if you see the impressions and the engagement I get on my posts, but I would happily continue to promote your shoe.
Definitely. Show some love, Canes. Right. Seriously, send some shoes. My third question, or second question technically, would be throughout the process of skill development, and I'll use Johnny as an example. You don't have to say who names. I bet they would prefer not. Have there been kids in situations where you're like, this kid has all the right things going for him, but then there's like 2 or 3 things that you can't get him to shake, and it just kind of is the downfall? And it doesn't have to be the dramatic 2 or 3 things, but even if it's like so small as like, look, I know NBA players smoke weed. We all do. We all have Instagram and TikTok. Stop if you're a kid. Yeah. Stop. Like, just stop. You haven't reached a pinnacle. Have you had those tough conversations with parents as well? That's why I said kind of 2, 3 questions. Yes. Where you got to tell a parent like, hey, your kid's out here like smoking and like coming to me high, and I don't want that around. Like, but they're really good. And have you had like, how have you dictated or had those conversations with kids and parents and saved or not saved them, because you can't save everybody or lead everybody at the end of the day?
I'm very direct with the kid at first, and the parents have given me the authority to help correct them and to trust me. My rule with kids is this: you can tell me anything, and I will not tell your parents unless it is something that is going to kill you, or very extreme. Yeah. And then
which is fair.
Right.
To cut you off, I think that's more than fair. Right. Like, you can trust me.
Some people don't. Some of these coaches don't, and that's the crazy thing. Is like, if their kid is doing something wrong, they'll try to be their homie. And that's the biggest thing, is like, I'm cool with these kids. They see me as someone they can trust, but they also see me as, hey, that's Coach Todd. Like, most of my kids still call me Coach Todd, regardless of their age. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like a respect and a reverence to my position.
That's how I look at Coach Capel. I still call him Coach Capel. Yeah. And even Mark Price is weird for me to say. I still call him Coach. Like, if he was in here, it's Coach Price.
Well, you call him Mark Price because he was an NBA player.
That was my joke. Yeah, that was my joke. When he hit me for the first time, my joke was, no, you're Mark. Like, to me, I'm like, no, dude, like, I know who you are. You punched Scottie Pippen in the face, and like, you shot 90, 40, 50, like, for 3 years. Like, that was my like.
All-time assist leader, or in one game assist leader.
Yeah, something like that, or Cleveland records and stuff. Yes. To me, it was just like, I was just kind of confirming to him, like, no, you're Mark Price. Like, he took, even till this day, he'll say, I took that as like a compliment. Like, you knew who I was. I was like, dude, come on. But back to my question.
Yes. I take it to the kid first, and then if they're not responding, and depending on how serious the kid is about the sport, I bring it to say, hey, we need to have a family talk. And so I literally go to families' living rooms and have real life talks.
That's
about
awesome.
what is holding them back, and I don't care about hurting other people's feelings in that process. That means if they're at a school they're not supposed to be at, they're training with a trainer they shouldn't be training with, I just don't hold any punches. And I go to that person too, say, hey, coach, I don't think he should play for you because you're not developing him the way he's supposed to. Hey, trainer, if you're not going to work on the fundamentals, like, there's no reason this kid should not have a better form after working out with you for 4 years. What are you doing? And I don't.
That's a very good question.
Respect in the space, because I'm here for these kids.
Yeah.
You cannot question that at any time. Yes, do I like some kids more and some get preferential treatment? Yep. You know why? Because they live in the gym with me.
But that's a part. That's what I was gonna say. That's part of like, like when people are like, oh, coaches have favorites. I'll tell you something right now. If I'm a college coach or I'm a high school coach, or actually, this is going to come out soon. I am going to be coaching on a high school staff this year and helping out. Yeah, it's not Calabasas.
I was like,
no Calabasas.
No, I'll say they got some core kids over there.
I'll say it on the podcast. I'm going to be coaching with Palisades High School. Just because I do so much business out there. The new coach is cool dude. We talked on the phone a couple times already. I got to fill out all the paperwork stuff and everything. But I don't get when parents, and this is also another question kind of back to you, I don't get when parents, like my dad is someone, or there are tough parents out there who think their kid's the next LeBron. Have there been parents that have told you like, you're out of your mind, my kid's fine, and like you have no idea what you're talking about? Have you ever had those conversations where a parent just looks at you and they're just kind of like confused? You're like, what are you talking about? Like, no, and like kind of.
100%.
That's crazy.
No, I have. It's mostly mothers that are coddle their kids too long, and I'm not saying they can't do that or don't do that because it's your kid and they need that love. And in order for them to reach their goals, you're going to have to release them to the game at some point or another. And the earlier you do that and allow them to go through the adversity, the better they're going to become, not only as a basketball player, but as a human.
Yeah, the mental toughness part of it too, like we talked about.
And as long as you keep coddling and allowing them to have excuses, and you keep on getting them out of situations and talking to the coach every time they're uncomfortable, instead of telling them to figure it out and take responsibility and accountability for what they did, then they're going to continue to go through this problem forever.
I think what you just said, the excuses part is crazy, because my dad never let any of us make an excuse. Why are you late? Oh, there's traffic. You live in LA. There's always gonna be traffic. You got a phone, right? You didn't Google it. You didn't want to check. Okay, cool. You didn't want to do any of the things to require you getting here on time and showing up correctly in the right way. Cool. Yeah. We'll handle it when we get home. Yeah. We'll talk.
I got that. So I coached Luke. I coached Luke when he was at Heritage. And,
little Luke, my little bro. And we're two different, cut from two different cloths.
Two different cloths. But you know what? The work ethic.
Totally there.
Gym rat.
You just got to get him there.
Yeah.
You got to get him off the game.
He was a gym rat. At Heritage, he showed up every single day.
He's a gamer. Don't let him fool you. After all those workouts, though, but that's the thing. I'm not mad about that. I'll go in his room. I won't even open it. He'll tell you this. I'm not knocking on the door. If I hear him on the game, I'm opening the door. What are you doing? Bro, I just got done with 3 workouts. I'm tired. I'm on the game. Cool. You need water, food? No, okay. But he'll tell you, yeah, I just woke him on the game. I'm playing with my boy Quincy or something.
Yep, Q, yep.
Did you work out yet? No, we're going. I'll rip the headphones off. What are you doing? You know how many kids would die to be at Colorado State? Man. Why are you playing Apex? It's 9 a.m. You go on a run, you lift the weight. Did you take out the trash? Did you clean the kitchen? Did you do anything that you think deserves? I look at things as a reward. I'm a weirdo. Yeah. That's why I was trying to get in his head, but different generation. But I know he's a workhorse. I'm just
this is why I call you Uncle Murph. Huh?
Yeah, that's the nickname. That slowly has become my nickname. So
I love it, man.
From all age groups. But yeah, sorry to cut you off. But
no,
actually, that's a good question. What was Luke like? I have to ask. I've never had a coach tell me what Luke was like.
I hated coaching Luke. I'm not gonna lie, and Luke knows this. I'll make it, like I said, I'll make it very clear.
No, I want to know why.
Luke was in his own world. He was in his own world. He had this idea of who he was and who he was going to become. And I don't ever step on kids' dreams.
Yeah.
Cool, you can be all that, but also you have to play defense, and also you got to learn when to take shots. His sophomore year, I believe it was his sophomore year, he shot contested shots and passed the ball on open shots. And it just it drove me
crazy,
absolutely nuts. And that was like, we had a squad.
Kyle, JR, you had Sky,
yeah, Malik,
and Luke. Dang, that's 5 D1 kids. Give or
Max
take.
Allen, we had 6.
I forgot about him. He's at Pepperdine or wherever he's at now.
Who else was on that team?
The big. Didn't you have a big as well?
That was Max. Max Allen. Yeah.
He's good. He was at Marist, right?
Yes.
I follow him on Instagram. He's good, man.
No, he can play.
Good kid too. He randomly will be like, "What up, Murph?" I'm like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in like 10 years. Hope you're doing good, dude." Like, good dude. Shout out Max. And JR and Kyle. They're always at the house. JR and Kyle are. I mean, that's one thing too. And I wanted to give you your flowers to this. You always produce great kids outside of basketball, like JR, Kyle, Luke, Sky, Q. I forgot about Quinn. Q in my mind is Gavin. So Q. Like at my house, I'll go downstairs and JR's in there in our pantry. I'm like, get out the pantry. Like just shooting the stuff with them, and they're such good kids too. Yeah. And I think that's a testament to you and your relation to core, and it's great to see. And they're all amazing families too. I'm not saying anything negative towards family. I'm saying just more so towards you, because at the end of the day, coaches are around the kids more than their own parents or trainers or whatever we call them, handlers, or however you want to put the wording in. That person is around the kid more than their parents 9 times out of 10 if it's a high level athlete. So we just named 7 kids that all went pretty high major D1 or JUCO or whatever, which way, shape, or form, but they're all playing college basketball and all are getting college educations. Yeah. So that's amazing that you took, because 4 of those dudes pretty much live with me. So
no, absolutely, man. That's what it's about. Is the basketball becomes second, man. Just taking care of these kids, making sure they have the right mindset, and moving on to the next thing. So, man, it's been an amazing show, man. You have a 24-second shot clock. let the people know where they can find you and any message that you have for them.
Instagram is Ryan Gray 24. That's kind of all I use. And on Twitter, if you want funny random videos that I repost, it's Ryan Merv Hoop. That's kind of it. Work at Beverly Hills Estates. If you need anything, call me. My number's pretty much everywhere on that stuff. So pretty simple.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
Man, appreciate you being on the
Thank
show,
you for having
brother.
me, bro.
Yeah,
This was
absolutely,
dope, man.
That's all we have for you today, folks. We'll see you next time. Peace.